It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
So where's the office, back at division? Yeah, in the office, baby. Going up.
And here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Rothman and Ice. I'm Matty Ice. Back on the board doing his thing is TLC. And to my right today, ladies and gentlemen, it's one of our favorites and one of your favorites as well. His name is Austin Bleepin' Ward.
Don't speak.
Don't say, give me a hell yeah.
Austin Ward, welcome in, my man. Happy Friday. How are you?
Don't speak for all the people out there. I'm not their favorite. You're the favorite. But it is a huge weekend. We got Stone Cold kicking it off. Money in the Bank tomorrow night.
No doubt,
We're taking over this show. We're making Rothman can't do the professional wrestling talk.
Listen, he doesn't care about it. He think it's fake. Look, okay, I'm like, AR, you get in the ring and get some chops across the chest, okay, and tell me how fake it is.
I mean, my daughter Liberty loves it. She gives me those chops. That's. I'm like, I'm in pain. You tell me it's not real.
Yo, it's good stuff, man. It's good to see you. Thank you for your time. Folks, as always, thanks for your time as well. We'll get you headed into the weekend, hopefully the right way. I will lay out the menu for you real quick. 12:45, as always, on Friday. We will do overs and unders. 117, we will do under pressure. 1:30, we'll talk all things National Football League with Sam Brook House from Sumer Sports, and then we will end the show with a guest at 2:30, as we always do with our guy Jensen Lewis, talking all things Major League Baseball. A-Dub, for the folks that don't know or may not be aware of what's going on, look, you're a teammate now. You're on the roster here, the active roster here at the Fan. Let the folks know where they will be able to catch not only you, but our guy Berm as well.
Yeah, well, pretty much all over the place, but especially now that we've got to go full barrel with the YouTube channel is up and going. So you can certainly, if you're watching or streaming us right there with Rothman and Ice, we've got the podcast daily going there, The Beat. We had some snap judgments from camp season, which started on Thursday at the Woody. So I had some thoughts about seeing some of the current Buckeyes out there. The coaches were obviously evaluating and extending some offers to the prospects that were camping. But so every day, whether you go to 10 TV, 10 TV Plus, the 97.1 The Fan YouTube channel, or anywhere that you download and listen to audio-only podcasts, we're there. That's the Austin and Berm. Just hit that keyword search there. And that's been exciting, man, because, you know, we love to talk ball. Mm-hmm. And there was a stretch there we weren't doing it the way that we wanted, or we weren't having a chance to do it at all. We were just hanging out and still doing some writing on the side, but this partnership, I think, has been awesome. It's been really exciting, and we've been hitting the ground running.
Yeah, I'm looking forward, man, to hear what you guys have to say, because you guys are amongst the best at covering that beat. You guys have done it for a long time, and it's funny because I always kind of needle at AR when we get to this time of year that, hey, before you know it, Saturdays will be here. Sundays will be here. Games that count are right around the corner, and it's funny, right, because we've officially turned the page to June. And the first game for the old Scarlet and Gray is August 31st. So in the blink of an eye, summer will be kind of gone and football will be back. And I know for a lot of people, that's going to be exciting. Look, this season, we'll get into some Buckeye stuff at 12:30 today. But just overall, big picture, there's always obviously excitement year in and year out. But especially, A-Dub, as you know, when you hand the keys over to a new quarterback and there's so much new going on. I always say, with a program like Ohio State, new isn't always bad. New really isn't always bad. For some programs, when you lose a whole bunch of talent, it's a little spooky on the other side. For programs like Ohio State, as you know, they recruit with the best of them, coach with the best of them, and there's dudes ready to make themselves household names over there. I got to believe that.
And that's been the part to get back out there yesterday. I've said this over and over. I feel like I'm a broken record every year. You go from the end of spring camp. You have the spring game, the spring showcase, whatever you want to call it, Maddie. And then we go 2 months where they have a little bit of time off. They finish up the semester, but they're in there with Mickey Marotti. They're in the lab. They're grinding in the weight room. And the physical transformation that you see from these guys, because as you mentioned, they're recruiting at the very highest level year in and year out at Ohio State. We know that. We've come to expect that.
Yeah.
But then when you have these high achievers, these motivated guys, and you step back for 1 second, if you're watching somebody day after day, you may not notice the transformation. You may not notice the size change.
Mm-hmm.
You zoom out for 2 months, and then you go back in, man, and you see Edric Houston walking around at 295 with 20% body fat, looking, like a diesel tank. He said he wants to get like Aaron Donald. He's well on his way. You see Caden Curry walking around with calves that are now like double the size of when he arrived. Like, okay, well, this is his moment. And you could go on down the list, but that's the thing that I love most about summer camp season. It's 4 or 5 days to be around that roster, because then we're going to have, it's not as long as it used to be. We're, 5-6 weeks away from Big Ten Media Days in Vegas, and then July 31st, that first practice. So it's this nice little midway point to catch in and see where they are physically. Yeah. Now, that doesn't answer what's going to happen at quarterback. That's a whole nother conversation for under pressure maybe, but that's the part that I really love about getting back out there.
You touched on Coach Marotti, and that's essentially what he is an extension of the coaching staff, how important he was to Urban. Then he sticks around for Coach Day. And there's been so many players that I'm sure you've talked to that are former players and guys that I've done shows with that talk about how real he is and how legit he is and how paramount he is for the program, because sometimes when the coaches can't be around or they're gone on recruiting trips or whatever it may be, it seems like Coach Day, Coach Meyer, all the coaches have so much trust in him to keep things in order. But like you just laid out, get guys headed down the right direction physically, because there are guys, and I've loved the pictures. And I don't think we see him anymore, but I think like back in the day, our guy Joshua Perry had like his transformation throughout the year. And you can just see like Coach Marotti obviously knows what the heck he is doing, but he turns guys into high school kids, into dudes, into grown men over their time here at Ohio State. And having that guy around has been so critical to Ohio State being able to maintain this level of success that they've had consistently.
We've seen, especially if you look at this version of the coaching staff coming off of the offseason where you have to replace Jim Knowles, you replace Chip Kelly. You really look at this, and on that part of the coaching staff side, you can say this is now a full Ryan Day vision, top to bottom. These are the guys that he hired. There aren't, Keenan Bailey, I guess, predated him by 1 year, but he's in a full-time spot coaching tight ends because Ryan Day wants him there, selected him there, and is paying him to be there. But you look outside of that part, what is the consistent, what is the carryover from the previous regime to this one that you had to maintain, and then Ryan Day felt like must be retained? Mickey Marotti and Mark Pantoni.
Yep.
The guy that is integral in finding that talent and the guy that is pivotal in developing that talent in the weight room. And then so you put all those pieces together. It's been fun to watch. That developed here mantra. A lot of people might try and claim it, but you look at that, I think it's now 11 more first-round draft picks than any other program in the history of college football. It's crazy because the run they've been on, they had to catch up to pass that by, or at least maybe since the 2000s. I'll try and get that stat right at some point or more up to date, but I know they lead the way. And it's not slowing down.
No, not at all. Listen, if Ohio State, the football program, was a restaurant, Coach Day can be the head chef, but there's some really good sous chefs in that kitchen as well, right, that help that thing roll out and have some good stuff coming out of the kitchen. Speaking of good things coming out of the kitchen, what the Indiana Pacers are doing, A-Dub, this is absolutely nuts. This is insane. What they have been doing, specifically Tyrese Halliburton. You're a WWE guy. This guy, I think, when he retires, is going to be all around the WWE universe. He already is. McAfee loves him. Triple H loves him, and he continues to deliver. Heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak, round after round. He hits that walk-off shot last night. Indy right now is 7-2 on the road in the postseason right now. And Halliburton, he's got 4 game-tying or go-ahead field goals in the final 5 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime in the postseason this year. And what I love about this for him is The Athletic put out that piece. And the player poll was out there. Who they thought was the most overrated / overhyped guy in the league. And they picked this dude. And he has delivered clutch moment after clutch moment and shut all of those players up. Last night, look, we talked about it going into the game, A-Dub. It's not the big market teams. It's not really the household LeBron, Steph names. But there's some really good young players. There are some cool stories baked into this series. And one of those guys is Tyrese Halliburton. And the dude did it again.
Yeah, how's that Athletic poll aging? It's like some milk outside right now on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
it's not going great for them. It was fun to have that mix up there where Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton. They were on SmackDown last June. It's like, hey, Triple H is scripting the WNBA too. And you're like, well, if the Pacers keep coming back from 15, 17 down in fourth quarters, it's like, that doesn't feel real. Yeah. Their knack for these comebacks, the fact that they never say die, they're taking their cues from Tyrese Halliburton, who has elevated his game to another level. The number of game winners, the clutch moments that he's had in this playoffs have been awesome to watch. And I feel good for him, because when you have your peers, and again, they didn't put their name on it, but there's enough people voting on it that you take it seriously. Yeah. That's a whole nother level of motivation. And you can, like, that could get you in your feelings. That could hurt your feelings. You could say, well, maybe they're right. Maybe I don't have this in me. He took it the other way, and the way that he's responded to that, and he might say it doesn't matter. I don't believe that, because it'd be impossible to tune all that out. But you're going out there, you're winning games at the biggest level. Now you're 3 games away from winning an NBA championship. Yeah,
it's wild. Absolutely wild. They had no business winning that game, because in the first half, the Pacers went into the locker room and they coughed up 19 turnovers in a half. That's the most turnovers in a half in an NBA Finals game since 1998. But they are the guys that never say die. Cavs heartbreak, Bucks heartbreak, Knicks heartbreak, and he did it again to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So that will be fun. Game 2, A-Dub, real quick, of the Stanley Cup Final is tonight. Yeah. That first game was awesome, going to overtime. Draisaitl delivers. McDavid hits him with that assist, and the atmosphere was absolutely incredible. I know you're a hockey guy, so it'll be fun to tap into Game 2 tonight.
How lucky are we that these playoffs on both sides have been, sometimes you get a boring, usually it's the NBA, right? You don't have the upsets. You know who's going to make it to the finals, and we've been getting a little bit of the hockey upset going on the NBA side. Now you're getting the real feel for how great NHL playoff hockey is too. It's been an awesome postseason for them, and started off with a gangbuster game there in Game 1. So awesome to see that. We'll see if Bob and the Panthers can get that going again. I never like to see Bob winning elsewhere, so I'm a little bit conflicted for what's going on here, but we'll see if we'll get a good one.
Game 2 tonight, 8 o'clock up in Edmonton. That game will be on TNT. Coming up next, Aaron Rodgers finally made the decision we've all been waiting for. What type of impact do we think he'll have over in Pittsburgh? We'll dive into it next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. Just freak the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Spring showers revealing roofing or siding issues? Trust the pros at Newman Roofing for expert care, white glove service, and quality you can count on. Schedule your estimate today and take advantage of special financing options. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
Hey, it's Anthony for Orthopedic One. I'm not invincible anymore. I never was, but I refuse to punt on things I still love to do. That's why over the past several years, when I've had things creep up, like back pain, shoulder issue, elbow problem, I've had it all, I've always chosen Orthopedic One. That's because Orthopedic One is Ohio's largest physician-owned orthopedic practice with 60 physicians in every specialty. Find a physician or location near you at orthopedic1.com. Orthopedic One. This is where you go to get better.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
He shoots, he scores! It's a great time of year to be a fan, but the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. Maryhaven is here to help with in-person, virtual, and group options. Learn more at maryhaven.com.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
It's almost time for the inaugural 9.71 The Race.
Sponsored by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center.
Run, walk, have a beer with Common Man. Whatever strikes your fancy. Sign up today at 971therace.com.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will see showers on and off throughout the day and isolated thunderstorms. Otherwise, most of the day will be mostly cloudy to cloudy skies with highs in the low 80s. For tonight, down into the 60s overnight, and then we see clearing going into your Saturday, with Saturday mostly to partly sunny and our highs getting into the upper 70s. Great start to the weekend. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Truth of the matter is, you're listening to Rothman and Ice on 97.1 The Fan.
Appreciate you, Morgan. Appreciate you, big dog.
How'd you get that one?
Listen, man, we got connects around here. We got people in the streets, you know?
There's no way that's AI. There's just no way.
Welcome back in. That voice you just heard is our guy, Austin Ward. He's rocking out with me for the next couple of hours. Appreciate your time, folks. Happy Friday to you. Hope you got some fun stuff planned. A-Dub, it's been hot.
Ooh.
It's been hot this week.
It's been busy.
You're a golfer, big-time golfer. You enjoy that type of heat while you're playing golf?
I don't know about you, Maddie.
Yeah.
I want 65 degrees, just a touch of clouds, shorts and a quarter zip.
Talk to me.
All year round. That's what I want.
You're cooking.
And I feel like, you know, as we've become the San Diego of the Midwest, I more often than not get what I want because spring is not spring like it used to be. Fall is not fall like it used to be. And winter is like 2 weeks and we're done. So I like that. When it gets too hot and this redheaded pale skin, it burns easy. So I don't want it out too much. But that's why the quarter zip has become the go-to.
It is my favorite time of year where you can do what you said, quarter zip shorts, hoodie shorts, sweatpants, T-shirt, like that type of combination. That's my favorite window of time there. Look, let's get into this, A-Dub. We've been waiting for this for a while. I felt like this was coming. I felt like it was inevitable. There was 2 options. Either Aaron Rodgers was obviously going to join Pittsburgh or he was going to go back to a darkness retreat permanently and retire.
Got to get that ayahuasca going.
Got to get that going. And we found out yesterday, after we left, that he's officially going to join the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a 1-year deal. I think that makes a lot of sense for both parties. He's a guy that's obviously deep into the back 9 of his career, probably on hole 18 right now as we speak. And so I think for a franchise that's been scratching and clawing to get any type of consistency at the quarterback position since Big Ben, and even Big Ben's last year or 2, you could see the skills were diminished. And look, that's totally understandable. But right now, they need this. I think they need more of a right now talent than what Mason Rudolph is and what I think Will Howard is right now. But in time, I don't think any of us will be surprised if Will goes on to have success in the league. But for a franchise, as you know, A-Dub, that always has a safe floor, right? Mm-hmm. They're always right there, 9 wins, 10 wins. They're always in the mix. I think now you put Aaron Rodgers into this equation, and he can provide that for them. Big picture, obviously, is, hey, we got to find our quarterback of the future. They got 11 or 12 draft picks next year. They may be able to bust a move to grab Arch Manning, Sellers, whoever you like next season. But I like this for Pittsburgh. I don't think it raises their ceiling really high to get them in the elite class of the Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, Ravens. I don't see that right now. But we know with Mike Tomlin, you give him a solid defense, you give him a quarterback that's not going to mess things up, which I think Aaron Rodgers is that, but better than that in certain weeks. I kind of see the vision for Pittsburgh, and they're going to be a tough out this year.
See, I kind of thought that you put on the Ravens hat and the purple shirt today to celebrate that Rodgers is going there because it's going to lower the ceiling for the Steelers. I mean, you're right. The defense is built, and they've got a running game that they can rely on. They're going to be Mike Tomlin led. They're going to be the same Steelers. They're going to be pretty rugged. But that's why I wonder, he's always built that franchise where it feels like his culture translates. That's why Le'Veon Bell is no longer there. That's why Antonio Brown was no longer there. And the problem for them had been year after year, as you mentioned, aging Ben Roethlisberger. Then you take another shot last year. I thought that who knows what could have happened if they had continued to ride with Justin Fields. I selfishly wanted to see that just because I want something good to happen. And I think something, as hard as Justin Fields worked from my experience around him, that he deserves that and would work to make that happen. I thought that let's see what happens because I had already cashed out my interest on Russell Wilson at the end of the Seattle tenure and then whatever happened in Denver there. So this feels like a third swing at an aging quarterback that I don't love for them. It has nothing to do with thinking Mason Rudolph could make them a playoff team or that Will Howard would be ready as a rookie. I think pairing him with Aaron Rodgers for 1 year is not ideal for his development necessarily based on the Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers and then the Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. And they're not paying him to do that. They're paying him to win games and to try and make them a Super Bowl contender in 1 year. It's not about come mentor Will Howard. That's not why he's there. But I don't love it, honestly, for Pittsburgh, but I do love it for maybe the Ravens and the Bengals if we're talking about, for other interests, or the Browns, but they're certainly not contenders this year, in my opinion. But for the Bengals and Ravens, I think, go ahead, take your shot with Aaron Rodgers for 1 year because you're betting on a 42-year-old who's a year and a half removed from an Achilles injury.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's going to be conversations out there about, how will Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin get along? I don't view Mike Tomlin as a coach that's going to be a pushover. To me, he's not that guy. Could be wrong, but I don't foresee Aaron Rodgers coming into Pittsburgh, throwing his weight around, bringing in all the guys that he's wanted to bring in at every stop, whether it's coaches or the Alan Lazards of the world. And look, that's still an option. Alan Lazard, I would not be shocked if they traded for Alan Lazard. Obviously, it's a receiver he trusts and he believes in. But I think that's going to be one of the biggest pieces in this, as it is for any football team, is the relationship between the head coach and the quarterback, and those guys seeing the same vision and speaking the same language. And those guys, I think, at this point will do that. Robert Saleh was a young guy. As far as being a head coach and experience, he was a young guy. And, of course, when you're Aaron Rodgers and you're going to a franchise that's starved for any type of success, the way the Jets were, you can do some of the stuff that Aaron Rodgers was doing. I don't think that's going to be the case. He'll show up to mandatory minicamp next year. They'll hit the ground running, and we shall see what he can do. He has a brand-new toy to play with over there in DK Metcalf, who is an absolute dude, as we know. Those guys have worked out together there. Obviously, that was a big part of, I think, Aaron Rodgers wanting to join this party is, hey, what am I going to get from my number one wide receiver? There's going to be some good things there. But at this point in his career, I think he's a guy, A-Dub, the arm is still good. We talked to Peyton Manning at the Memorial last week, and he still sees some good stuff from his arm. He still thinks his arm is live. I see that as well, but when Peyton Manning says it, that really stamps it, obviously, then better than my stupid opinion that I give on here Monday through Friday. But the key to this is they just got to protect him and keep him upright. For any quarterback, that's an obvious thing to say, but when you're talking about a guy that had an Achilles injury a couple years ago, who's 40, 41 years old, whatever he is at the time. They've drafted that over the last couple of years. Young offensive line pieces up front. In this past draft, you touched on Will Howard. Outside of that, the only other guy they drafted on offense was Iowa's former running back now in Caleb Johnson. So I think they need a little bit more at wide receiver, because you talked about the games in division with Lamar and Joe Burrow, and even the games out of the division. And speaking of those, right out of the gate, get your popcorn ready, A-Dub, because it's on the road at New York against the Jets and Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson.
How about that?
And then we'll get another batch of football cinema, because Sunday, October 26th, the Green Bay Packers come to town for Sunday night football. So some fun games right out of the gate for Pittsburgh. The one against the Jets, if you want to label that a revenge game, fine. I don't know if Rodgers, well, you know what? He probably does feel that way.
He probably feels that way.
With the reports that were out there that they flew him all the way out there just to essentially tell him to kick rocks, and we're moving on, new regime. I kind of understand what they were thinking, but A-Dub will get that game week 1, and then he will get a former division rival in the Vikings across the pond on Sunday, September 28th. They go into their bye week, and then we get busy with the Browns, the Bengals, and then the Green Bay Packers. So the league knew what they were doing, putting the Steelers in some of these primetime games without him being a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I love this, because we love AFC North football around here, and getting to talk about this guy, but more importantly, what he can do within this division is going to be fun to see.
I think the thing you mentioned, Maddie, about Peyton Manning analyzing his arm, and we've always seen the arm talent from him, and the deep ball and the moonshots and the Hail Marys and all that from Aaron Rodgers. There's never been any reason to doubt that. And you look at his numbers for the Jets throughout last year, he was throwing for plenty of yards. He threw for a lot of touchdowns. I think the question mark, and I don't want to call it a doubt or label it an uncertainty or whatever, but what is the mobility? Because there were just years and years where it was his creativity outside the pocket. He was not known as a lightning fast runner. He's not Lamar Jackson. He may not even be Joe Burrow, but in terms of extending plays and then letting his receivers get downfield, Aaron Rodgers was brilliant at that. One of the best that we've seen do it.
Yeah.
And can you continue to do that? And if he just has to stand in the pocket to get that arm unleashed, can the Steelers protect him? I think that's fascinating to watch.
No doubt, man. So the Steelers check one massive box in getting their starting quarterback for 2025. Now they've got to figure out the TJ Watt situation, because he's looking for some new coin, and deservedly so after the career that he's put together and what I think he can do over the next couple of seasons. Coming up next, talk some Ohio State Buckeye football. When it comes to the Heisman Trophy in 2025, what would be a better bet to make? Betting on Jeremiah Smith or one of the OSU quarterbacks that could be the QB1? We'll get into it in 2 minutes right here on The Fan.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenics Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text DIG to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenics Thermo, our most powerful Fed incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text DIG to 42424. That's DIG to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony sometimes likes to sit and stare at his bundle of Emmy Awards. Unfortunately, it's through the glass of the pawn shop. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
That you are. Welcome back in. Austin Ward in the house today for AR. Happy Friday to you. You know, TLC, I owe you an apology because you are the resident Steelers fan on this program, and I did not get your take on now your new starting quarterback.
He was just stewing back there while we were trashing the Steelers.
How you feeling today?
Well, first of all, I think Aaron Rodgers owes us an apology for this news being reported 15 minutes after we get off the air yesterday. That would have been useful.
Oh, man. But how are you feeling, man, about this move?
I mean, it's hard to have a hot take because we've been talking about it for 4 months. We've all kind of generally accepted it, but I actually saw somewhere that the odds in the sports books of the Steelers' likelihood of winning the Super Bowl did not change whatsoever. So this was very much expected. So I guess I have to erase everything that I said about Will Howard possibly starting games this year. But aside from
maybe
that,
not. He's 42.
Yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be the same old, same old. I mean, we're going to be somewhere around 500. The national media is going to care about the streak of Mike Tomlin never having a losing season. The local media in Pittsburgh is not going to care. It's just going to be the same old, same old.
No, I hear you.
We're beneath the Ravens. We're above the Browns. The Bengals are somewhere in there.
I hear you, man.
The AFC North is so predictable.
It's a blessing and a curse, A-Dub, what he just talked about with the amount of games that they win year in and year out.
Yeah.
The blessing side of it is the respect, right? And knowing that they're never going to bottom out. They're never going to be an easy out for any team. But the curse part of it is when it does come to finding your quarterback of the future, you're never picking high enough to get up there, right? Because you're picking in the 12, 15, 17, somewhere in that range. But I think that could change next year. There's going to be a lot of competition to get up there high in the draft. And maybe you don't have to get that high if everything that we're hearing is true about what college football will look like at the quarterback position next year, with maybe 4 to 5 guys being worth, a first-round pick. But the Browns will have 2 first-round picks. Is it the Atlanta? Who did Atlanta trade? The Rams will have 2 first-round picks. And then
perhaps the Texans?
Maybe. I don't know about that.
Jackson Dart pick.
Okay, that's what that is. And then your team has a whole bunch of picks. So I can't wait to see what college football looks like, especially at the quarterback position, A-Dub, because this happens a lot. It does. If we're being honest, this time last year, there was a lot of hype around Carson Beck and all these other quarterbacks. And injuries happen and all of that play a factor into it. But the Matt Millers of the world, the Dane Bruglers of the world, these guys are speaking glowingly of what we're going to see a quarterback in college football this year.
Yeah, and I'd love for that to play out, on the field with the guys who actually have proven that they could be NFL quarterbacks, which I don't believe that Arch Manning has done. I'm not sure. Everyone is just saying, well, he's the number 1 pick. He's going to be on the big board. Based on what? Just purely the last name? There's so many other guys to be excited about in college football. And I'm not saying don't be excited about Arch Manning or that, that showdown in week 1 in the Horseshoe, 2 first-time, full-time starting quarterbacks going head-to-head. Who knows who it's going to be, how that's going to shake out. But this assumption that because of the last name, because of what else? The way he carves up JV guys in New Orleans? What are we basing this off of? That he is number 1?
You weren't impressed by Louisiana Monroe?
Not much, no. I mean, I can see
it's fair.
Everyone else can see the same thing that I can. There's potential there, and that he understands the game, and he was born and raised to play it. But can we wait and see him do it first?
I think it's totally fair to ask that question. The respect has to be there just based off of the family and the bloodline that he's grew apart in, but we've seen...
What is he, a horse?
Well, no, I'm just saying, to me, it's respectable when you got Eli and Peyton that have played that position, right? If this was a bloodline of, former players that didn't play that position, then it's like, okay, what I'm trying to say is there's going to be a safe floor there with what he can do. To your guys' point, how high is the ceiling? Nobody knows, because I'm with you. The games that he's played, Texas should kick the teeth into those opponents 10 out of 10 times, which they did. And so that game's going to be awesome. And the eyes of the football world will be on both quarterbacks, both teams, both head coaches with Sark and Ryan Day getting after each other again as they did in the college football playoff. And so, yeah, I'm on your side, Austin. I'm not all the way in with just crown this guy as the QB1 of next year's draft. And the other part of this thing, too, is the dude's got a couple years left of eligibility. He's not leaving, or he may not leave right away, and he may want to fine-tune some things. And then another branch off that tree is he can stay down there in Austin and make good money as well.
Has anybody in the Manning family ever, I don't know, tried to leverage where their destination could be at the NFL
That's
level?
happened.
Oh, that has happened?
That's happened.
All right, so there could be some family input on that. If we're getting way ahead of things, as we are wont to do around here, that's, let's just pump the brakes, because week 1, he's going to be facing a tremendous challenge with those silver bullets in Matt Patricia's defense. So let's let it play out a little bit.
And my guess, too, is when we get to week 1, even though that game's kicking off at high noon, the atmosphere will be fine.
You think?
The atmosphere will be fine.
I'm pretty confident in that, too.
The atmosphere will be fine. So I tease going into break, would we put a little coin on Jeremiah Smith winning the Heisman Trophy or a Buckeye quarterback winning the Heisman Trophy? Before we get into that, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole earlier just about Jeremiah Smith's season a year ago, because I remember we talked to you every week throughout the season, and you were saying, hey, guys, this dude is cut from a different cloth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you hear those things, and you're like, okay, he's going to be a good player. But then what we saw was greatness.
Yes.
And so I went back and I pulled up some of the stuff from the second Oregon game, because that to me is the game for him amongst so many games, because the dude played in 16 games last year and he scored a touchdown in 12 of them. So you're just thinking 4 games out of the year, this dude didn't touch the paint, but he was still probably impactful in those games. But really what jumped out to me was, there's certain guys, Austin, that we watch that are just one of one. And you're out there amongst other elite guys, both for Ohio State's roster and Oregon's roster. And he was jumping off the screen, and just the creativity of how they got him the ball right out of the gate, kind of that end-around pass, and he splits 2 guys and goes to the house. Then I went back down and I saw that catch on the sideline in between 2 guys early on in the fourth quarter. It was just downhill in a good way for him in that game. And so, you've been around the program for a long time. I mean, this guy seems to be setting himself apart. Look, we got 2 more laps around the track with this guy at Ohio State. So anything could happen. But if he stays healthy, we're going to be looking at maybe the best receiver to ever come to this program.
It's crazy to say that. In the play you mentioned, that first touchdown against Oregon, where he's just taking something in the flat, turns upfield, and when he split those 2 defenders, there aren't a ton of plays that are burned in my brain, like from covering Ohio State. Some of them just blur together. It's been 13 years of it. I don't think that I'll ever forget watching him accelerate because it's not the broadcast view. I'm watching him run away from me in the press box seat, and I was like, this game is over. They cannot stop Jeremiah Smith, and they don't want to. It wasn't even, it felt like it was half business decision from the Oregon defense and half what would be the point of even trying? Yeah. They can't stop him. So I've always tried to be, Maddie, a little bit cautious with the preseason buzz, hyperbole, primarily when it comes to true freshmen. I know it's fun to talk about instant impact, but Ohio State has built a roster and a program where you don't have to rely on that. And so I do that with hesitancy every single year. Last year coming out of spring, and when Jeremiah Smith is doing the things that he was doing in practice every single day, when Ryan Day is standing out there on the broadcast for the spring game saying, well, Jeremiah doesn't need to get this work. We need to make sure we get healthy for the opener. I'm like, okay, how can you slow play this guy? Yeah. And we're standing out there again, like first camp of summer last year. Jeremiah Smith is becoming the first freshman to ever become an Iron Buckeye. It's not just because he showed up and he's so much better than everybody else. He is an athletic freak, and he is also one of the hardest workers that you're going to find. It's that combination that is fueling the greatness that you described, and it's been almost hard to believe what he's accomplished in 1 year and that he's not even close to the finished product.
You mentioned something that I think is critical in this is obviously the skills. He's been touched by the hand of God. The football gods have absolutely blessed him with something that a lot of guys just don't have, right? But now Ohio State, Coach Day, Coach Hartline specifically, have had back-to-back stars at that position that you hear similar things about. that they just grind.
Yeah.
Like these dudes are just in the lab and they just want to be the best that they can be. And I think baked into that as well is obviously it's the pops for Marv, but it's Geno Smith too, I think, for Jeremiah Smith, and seeing, hey, like big cousin, you know, I've seen him work and I see what it takes. Those guys have to continue to do it. But you hear from so many coaches in whatever sport, when your best player or one of your best players is one of your hardest workers, it's a dream.
Yeah.
And I think right now, even over there, as you know, A-Dub, on both sides of the ball, you got guys that are, I think, cut from the same cloth. Caleb Downs, you don't hear a lot of talking from Caleb Downs. His game does the talking. I'm coming to knock your face off. I'm all over the field, making life difficult, buzzing around like Dr. Strange, like there's 5 of me out here on defense. And then you have a similar thing on Austin Ward where it's like he looks like a mutant, doesn't talk, and then before you know it, he's dropping 8 catches for $150 and 2 touchdowns on your head.
Yeah, and when you talk about Marv there, and, you know, it's good examples from Marvin Harrison Sr. and Geno Smith. That's part of it. It's being surrounded by the right people. It's having your head on right, all those things that we talk about. But then you have to go out and play. And Marvin, he put it this way. I'm not speaking for him. We talked to him. He came back to Pro Day. Berman and I did an interview, sat down with him, where he said, because I said, Marv, you're talking about him as like already better than you. You are a Heisman Trophy finalist. You are deserve it of a Mount Rushmore type place in Ohio State history at wide receiver. And I saw how hard you worked to get there. And I know your genetics and your athleticism, but he chalks his success a lot up to, well, all those hours that we saw him out there catching thousands of footballs and earning and grinding it for it. That he was not as anointed maybe the same way that Jeremiah Smith was, as you put it, with the hand of the football gods. And Marv's appreciation for Jeremiah Smith, called him the LeBron James of football after 1 year at Ohio State. 1 year after Marv was doing the things that he was doing.
Yeah.
We're very lucky to get to see this up close because the generational stuff gets thrown around all the time. This is like universal. I don't even know what planet he's from.
It's absolutely wild, man. It really is. Over at Bet365 right now, he has that being Jeremiah Smith, the 4th best odds to win the Heisman at 12-1. Right behind him is Julian Sand at 15-1. So Vegas, they're in the know. It's crazy with some of this stuff, but Julian Sand pretty high up there. Your leader on the board right now is Arch Manning at +600, followed by Garrett Nussmeier +850, Cade Klubnik 10-1, and then, as I mentioned, the aforementioned Jeremiah Smith at 12-1. It's going to be fun. And then we talked about Jeremiah, but Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, the young quarterback, whoever it is in good hands with the play callers and the playmakers around them, whether it's Julian, Lincoln, Tavion, we'll see. Those guys, I think, should have some comfortability going into every week knowing that I just got absolute monsters around me.
I've scrolled down on that list, too, because C.J. Donaldson is listed. You could get some odds for him in the backfield. That's critical for that next quarterback. Mm-hmm. You look at, I think it's fun to see how this offensive line is coming together, what Brian Hartline, Tyler Bowen are going to do to piece this offense together as they lead it. Like, clearly, it's going to come down to the quarterback at the end of the day. But when you have Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, Brandon Ennis, Max Clare, Will Kazmarek, C.J. Donaldson, James Peoples to work with, you're probably going to be
sleeping
well. You got a little bit of head start, right?
Sleeping well over there at the Woody, that's for sure. Coming up next, we'll do overs and unders to round out the first hour. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It always seems to happen at the worst time. You're finally in bed after a long, hard day, and then you hear it. You sit up, heart sinking. Is that coming from the ceiling? All of a sudden, it's a middle-of-the-night flashlight hunt to find the leak. But don't worry, Newman Roofing has you covered, literally. With more than 3 decades in the business, we've seen just about everything a storm can throw at a roof. Our teams know how to spot the problem, explain your options, and fix it right the first time, with craftsmanship and care you can feel good about. We're not just here for a quick patch job, and we never will be. We're here to make sure your home stays protected season after season. So when it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, choose the company you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
At
Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Kroger brand 80% lean ground beef is on sale. 3-pound packages are only $3.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
This summer, elevate your backyard barbecue game with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus in Dublin. Experience the power of Napoleon's infrared sizzle zone, reaching up to 1,800 degrees in just 30 seconds for that perfect steakhouse sear. Stay connected with the Napoleon Home app. Monitor up to 3 temperature probes, all from your smartphone. Built to last with premium steel, the grilling season never ends with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus. Visit Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin and transform your patio into a gourmet grilling paradise.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Austin and Berm are back with a new daily podcast, the ultimate OSU football insiders. You know it's refreshing to have some smart people working here from time to time.
The Beat with Austin and Berm on the 10 TV Plus app.
Subscribe today.
The Home Depot has fast, free delivery on the perfect gift to help Dad do more this Father's Day. Because Dad is more than just a dad. He's groundskeeper of the yard, the perfecter of the patio, and the cleaner of the clippings. Power Dad's doing with Ryobi cordless outdoor power tools from the Home Depot, like the Ryobi 40-volt string trimmer kit for $159. For everything Dad is, find the perfect gift at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for more details.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Rothman and Ice presents Overs and Unders.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
All right, TLC, it's overs and unders time, big dog. Let's cook. What do you got?
I think we need to change that open because it's not really Rothman and Ice who are presenting the overs and unders.
It really is you.
It's really me.
It really is TL.
You've got control over that. We'll make it happen.
You know what? I actually do. All I have to do is just send a request and we can change it.
Be done.
All right. So last night, it was last night, we saw Pacers and Thunder. It looked for about, 46 of the 48 minutes like the Thunder were going to win that game. Pacers take game 1. So the over-under that I'm sitting on how many games the NBA Finals is going to go, I'm setting it at 6. I'm blocking it from 6.
So is the number 5.5?
Yeah, but the odds are so skewed. Because
you have to take 5 or 7.
Yeah.
I would. Wow. I don't know why I don't respect the Pacers more. And I should at this point. But it's something about them that's just kind of, it's cute, you know?
Wow.
And I know it's disrespectful. I know I'm being disrespectful.
Cute, he said.
It's disrespectful. It is.
Media elitist over here.
I am going to
Doesn't
go.
respect flyover country.
Give me 5, man. I would bet, so I'll go under.
Oh, you mean OKC wins the next 4?
Sounds like what's what he said. going to go take 2.
Spicy, I
in
know.
Indianapolis.
It's spicy. Oh, man. No, I can't do that. I can't do it. I'll go over. I will go over. OKC still winning the series, though, but I'll go over.
I can't see this series ending in 5 because Oklahoma City is they're too well built. They are a solid front to back basketball team. They've won a ton of games too. I think everybody came into the series just like Maddie over here, assuming that the Thunder are just going to storm right through. So eventually they're going to right the ship, and they nearly did, as you said. 46 out of the 48 minutes, we thought they were going to win that game. I think it's going to go to the wire. I'll take 7 as well.
I'm blocking you from 6 again. How many games is the Stanley Cup Finals going to go over under at 6?
Getting 2 Game 7s. That's how lucky we are. I think it's going to be fun, man.
I agree with you.
We saw 7 in this series last year.
Edmonton took care of home ice in Game 1. What did you just say, TLC? We got 7 last year?
Yeah. With these two, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was, I think, a 3-0 series that went to 7 games. So it was looking like a blowout.
AR and I talked about a little bit of this going into Game 1 and how goalie Bob's obviously he's one of the best. But Edmonton's going to apply a different amount of pressure on him.
They are.
With the amount of shots that they'll fire at him game in and game out. Florida's not going to be shook by losing Game 1 on the road. They know what it takes to obviously get it done at this time of year. So I'm going to go over. I'm with A-Dub on this. I think we get a long series. I think we get 7.
How many days will Anthony Rothman work next week? Over under 4.5.
What happened today?
He's feeling down a little bit.
We got that Twitter DM again.
He's feeling down a little. Yeah, which is weird. Like he reaches out to us on Twitter, doesn't text us.
He doesn't have you guys saved in the phone?
We got a group chat going, but he doesn't use it. But he will be back on Monday. My bet is he will be back on Monday. The dude loves the grind. He's going 5 for 5. Give me the over for my guy AR next week.
I feel he's got to be out playing golf right now, doesn't he? I mean, let's be real.
If he is playing golf, he's telling everybody around him, don't tweet anything.
Don't tell anybody I'm here. This is a sick day. It's not PTO.
If his voice is in bad shape, that doesn't affect his golf game.
That's true. I'm going over A-Dub. He'll go 5 for 5 next week.
I guess. I can't put the odds on it. I never feel like AR takes a day off. This is the first time you and I have ever done this show together.
You got to understand. AR missed Gold Jacket Thursday yesterday.
Oh,
yeah,
my
that's
gosh.
his baby. And we talked to Warren Sapp yesterday, and that got a little spicy.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I think I tarnished the reputation of Anthony Rothman's legacy yesterday.
I saw him in here on Wednesday.
More on that later.
Oh, man.
Berm and I were in here talking, and he didn't look like himself.
No,
I was like,
he
man,
didn't.
did you have a good time at the memorial? He's like, I'm tired. Like, what? You live for this. You're the mayor.
He went to a wedding in Chicago after that, too.
Oh, goodness.
But he is the mayor of Muirfield. He gets a little uncomfortable when I go down that road, but he really is.
That's what everybody tells me.
Yes.
Say,
really
hey,
is.
Austin, why haven't you ever played in the media golf outing? Well, because Anthony Rothman doesn't want me to.
I will say on Wednesday, I did witness Anthony Rothman stop himself mid-sentence, turn off his microphone, blow his nose, and then rejoin the conversation.
Yeah, he was hurt. He had a trash can right next to him on Wednesday. It was his Jordan flu game.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Well, I think he'll go 5 for 5 because especially now that I've said he's preventing me from playing golf at Muirfield. He's like, well, Austin's not going to be on this show ever again.
Oh, man.
The Ohio Cup starts on Monday. How many games will the Guardians win? 1.5 in a 3-game set.
You know how I feel about my Reds. The Bieber thing's a little dicey. That's a little spooky news. We'll have to talk to J. Lou about that later. Guards will be coming out of a series against the Houston Astros this weekend. I hate my baseball team, A-Dub.
I think they give you good reason for that.
They provide so much pain. They really do, and disappointment. I'm going over. Guardians are just the better team. It is officially print the shirts season. Whenever I say that, I curse my teams. I cursed Hunter Green this year. I said he's going to win the NL Cy Young Award. Since I said that, A-Dub, he's been on the IL twice.
Yeah, it feels like the Guards for me. I'd love for the Reds to find some consistency for your sake and for maybe better's sake out there, because it's no fun if you have to flip a coin on if your team's going to score 21 runs or 0.
We got one-day baseball game today, so just throw a dart. How many runs will be scored in the first inning? Rays and Marlins over under 1/2.
Over, baby.
You going over? I'm going to go the boring route. Give me under.
All right, there you go. We'll
Give me
find
the
out.
under.
We'll find out in like 20 minutes.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Those are your overs and unders for this week, TLC. Good job. Coming up, one of the top football programs in the Big Ten. They just got hit with some scary injury news to one of their best players. We'll talk all about it next. Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
It's a different world today than it was 30 years ago when I started Care Heating and Cooling. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, 30 years ago, you were the first to warn of companies using service technicians as salespeople, of abusing the trust that a service technician has. With the big conglomerates now buying companies all over Central Ohio, this has become the normal business model.
It's all about greed. The conglomerates know they can make a lot more money by incentivizing their technicians to sell air conditioners instead of fixing them. They train their techs to take advantage of a customer when they are the most vulnerable.
Dad, that is not how we were taught. In 2024, Care Heating and Cooling was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
We've all got our daydreams, right? Little things, big things, things you know one day you'll do. Then out of nowhere, cancer. And all your plans don't change a bit. I would know. I'm about to jump out of an airplane with my dad. Our first time skydiving solo. And my second year since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health. All right, Dad, let's go. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keep making plans.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, get 50% off your windows. That's half off, plus no interest, no payments for 12 months, and a free entry door with your window purchase. Restrictions apply. Call 614-502-5220. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
On opening day 1974, the Reds welcomed a new play-by-play voice to the radio booth, a seat Marty Brennaman would hold on to for 46 seasons. And from that vantage point, he would make some of the most iconic calls in franchise history.
He levels the bat a couple of times. Shao kicks and he fires. Rose swings.
There it is! There it is! Get out! Get out! All right!
Hit number 4192. Seaver with a pause. The check and the pitch. He bounces to first base. Dreesen has it. He goes to the bag and Seaver's got it. Bob Seaver has pitched his first Major League no-hitter.
He is ready for the 2-2 to Woodson, and here it comes. And it is swung out and missed. And Tom Browning has pitched a perfect game.
The pitch is hit in the air. Foul. Off first. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds. And a high fly ball. Center field. He hit it a ton. It's gone. And the 2010 Central Division Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty Brennaman was inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame on August 27th, 2021. The Hall of Fame moment is brought to you by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put their financial strength behind you. Visit westernsouthern.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and so are the summer savings at RCD RV. Don't miss RCD RV's summer kickoff sale running June 7th through the 21st. New RVs starting as low as $12,995. Now's the time to make a splash this summer. Hurry in. Those deals will not last long. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com. Visit our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at rcdrv.com.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Dylan Gonzalez. The NBA Finals got off to an exciting start last night. The Oklahoma City Thunder dominated much of Game 1 at home against the Indiana Pacers, but the Pacers came storming back in the fourth. Down 1, they put the ball in the hands of their star player.
Halliburton looking. Halliburton driving. Pulls up. Jump shot. It's good! It's good! With 0.3 of a second remaining.
Indiana wins Game 1, 111-110. Game 2 will be in OKC on Sunday. All the Ohio baseball teams are back in action tonight. The Cincinnati Reds will start their home series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Guardians will welcome the Houston Astros to Cleveland, and the Clippers will host Toledo at Huntington Park. This Sports Center was sponsored by RCD RV Supercenter. Visit them in Heath, Delaware, and Pataskala, or at rcdrv.com. Breaking sports news when it happens right here on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Like trying to snap a picture of Bigfoot. Nobody has ever witnessed Maddie eating a carb. This is Rothman and Ice.
That it is. Welcome back in. Happy Friday to you. I'm Matty Ice, TLC on the board doing this thing. The great Austin Ward in the house today holding it down for AR. Bottom of the hour, we will talk all things National Football League with Sam Brook House from Sumer Sports. Got to get his take on Aaron Rodgers, the AFC North, and all the other happenings around the league because we know that league never sleeps. Let me let you know about a cool event we got coming up here in a few weeks at the Fan. We're not at the Fan, at another location, but the Fan. We're going to hope to host you at the inaugural 97.1 The Fan, The Race, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center. It is a 5K run and a 1-mile walk happening June 21st at Otterbein University in Westerville. Some of your favorite personalities will be there, including Tyvis Powell, T-Bone, Common Man, Eric Reeser, and more. And yes, 10 TV's Adam King will be in the building running the race in a suit and tie. So that's must-see TV right there. Every participant gets a finisher's medal, a race shirt, free photos, and awesome gifts from Logan Services and Raising Cane's. The inaugural 97.1 The Fan, The Race is presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center and sponsored, by Impact Health and Wellness, specializing in regenerative medicine, weight loss, and hormone therapy to help define your wellness goals. Sign up today at 971thefan.com. Again, you can sign up today at 971thefan.com.
Anthony Rothman, not that good looking.
Yeah, it's Adam King right there. Live from the Memorial, folks.
This is the most I've ever heard Cole talk.
If things go south, things could go south.
When we have Adam King in here every Thursday at 1:30, he and TLC, there's kind of like a rivalry brewing, between the two. It's like two little brothers or two brothers getting after each other. I'm here for
two little brothers. You just sunned both of us.
Well, you guys are a little younger than me. Yesterday was actually the first time I've ever hosted a show here at the Fan where I was the oldest guy on the show.
Oh, boy. How'd that feel?
Felt bad.
Life comes at you fast.
It doesn't feel worse, though, than when I go to, grocery store, fast food or whatever, and like high school kids are hitting me with sir.
Oh.
Here you go, sir.
Oh, boy.
That's tough. That's been a slice of humble pie that I have not enjoyed tasting. Hey,
wait till you turn 40.
Oh, we had a YouTube commenter call me a millennial yesterday, and I corrected him. I said, no, get Gen Z, get it right.
Yeah, I'm the millennial.
Yeah.
On the show there. Are you ready to go for this race? You trained up? You ready to go?
I'm still working on it.
Okay.
And by that, I mean, I haven't jogged a long distance since Mother's Day. However, I was leaving a buddy's house to go walk back to my house. I jogged it. It was only a 1.25 miles, so it wasn't that far.
Okay.
But
were you dying?
It was easy.
Easy.
Now, I didn't stretch my legs, so my legs were a little bit heavy, but the cardio-wise, that was easy.
That's dangerous. You could have popped the hammy, popped
you
the
gotta
quad.
stretch.
I'm going slow.
That tells me how young he is.
exactly.
Not even stretching.
Don't even need to stretch.
No.
For 1.25 mile? No.
No,
Buddy.
you need a stretch.
I can get outside and jog 1.25.
Okay.
No problem.
I'm not saying that no one can go out and jog 1.25 miles, but I am now 42 years old. If I don't stretch beforehand, once I get to the finish line, it's over for me.
Cooked.
Well, look, this is false advertising. Okay, we're advertising this as this is a race. This is not a race to me. This is just
Adam King's running in a suit, and you have a competition.
Yeah.
You have a brotherly rivalry going
For
here.
me, it's just get to the finish line.
Okay.
I don't care about my time. My time can be terrible. I want to get to the finish line without walking a single step. I'm not going to be jogging fast. My strides aren't going to be that long. It's going to be like...
But you can't lose to a guy in a suit.
That's what I'm saying. So now what we need...
when I'm going 10K and he's doing 1 mile, I won't lose.
We need Adam to call him out. That's what we really need, and that'll get him fired up.
That's got to happen.
That'll get him fired up.
That's going to be some motivation.
Exactly. See? I know it. You know one guy that probably won't be running a lot for a pretty long time? It's Oregon wide receiver Evan Stewart, because news out of Eugene today,
Take it
fellas.
straight to an actual injury. Love that.
Is Oregon wide receiver Evan Stewart is believed to have a torn patella tendon this week. So further tests, those are still ongoing. You see stuff out there, A-Dub, that recovery time for this can range from 3 to 12 months. So we could be looking at a situation for Dan Lanning and the Ducks to where they may not have their star wide receiver around for a chunk of the season, maybe the entire season, depending on how severe this is for them. Massive recruit coming out of high school. Went over to A&M for a little bit of time, didn't work there, hopped on up to Eugene and was an impactful player. We didn't see him play in the game. Was it the first or the second game? I think it was the second game. It was the second game. He wasn't there. But, A-Dub, when you're trying to break in a new quarterback as they are, and it looks like Dante Moore may be their guy, this is obviously tough sledding for Dan Lanning and his crew.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how long that keeps Evan Stewart out, but you know that he won't be playing against Penn State. So you've got, that situation. Yeah, you look at the next wave, and you see a lot of familiar names: Decorian Moore, Jeremiah McClellan, Jurian Dickey, guys that Brian Hartline evaluated, recruited. Some they went further down the road with than others. So it's not like they're devoid of talent, but they are very inexperienced of what they lost after last year at wide receiver. And certainly, as you mentioned, when you're trying to replace your quarterback, Dylan Gabriel's not there anymore. That's a tall task. Now, Oregon is trying to position themselves as one of these programs nationally where Dan Lanning is going to go competitively fight in these recruiting battles, and Phil Knight's going to step up and support when he needs to. And they are competitive year in and year out. They've earned that, but it doesn't seem like it is as easy for them to weather some of these injuries as other programs are. And when you have the benefit of the rest of June and July to train these younger guys, freshmen, first-time starters, to try and replace Evan Stewart, that's a tall task. Training camp, but you've got a huge test across the country for Oregon in Happy Valley in late September, and they've got to get a quarterback and now a top wide receiver up to speed in a hurry.
Outside of the game for them, as you mentioned, on the road against James Franklin and his crew over there, the schedule doesn't look too spooky right now. There may be some teams in the conference that pop up and surprises. There seems to be a team or two, maybe a year, that does that. That game after the Penn State game will be interesting when they host Indiana. I know there's a lot of people that, maybe not a lot, but there's people out there that like Mendoza, this transfer quarterback coming in. So for both programs, Oregon and Indiana, handing the keys over to new guys. Mendoza comes from Cal. Dante Moore's been waiting in the wings a little bit. He was recruited by Chip Kelly, I believe, and he was out there at UCLA, and so I'm sure he learned some things from Dylan Gabriel. But they could ease their way into the season with Montana State. We'll see what type of bite Oklahoma State has in week 2. But, look, Dan Lanning, you zoom out from that beatdown Ohio State put on them in that Rose Bowl game. He seems like he's going to have that program in order more times than not. And I think that's really good for the conference, is to have Ryan Day doing his thing, and he will be one of the best coaches in the sport, have Ohio State right there in the mix more times than not. But you look around this conference, some of the head coaches and where we're headed with this thing, there could be some good head coach on head coach crime, if you will, when it comes to rivalries in this conference for the next few years if guys stick around. Now, that's a big if. There's always a bunch of movement, but specifically when it comes to Lanning and Ryan Day, there could be something special there between Oregon and Ohio State.
Well, I think if you're looking, Maddie, at, let's say, head coach recruiting rivalries, let's put it solely in that vein, because Dan Lanning and Ryan Day don't do the same thing on game days. That's not, their emphasis is not the same. Their expertise is not the same.
Yeah.
But they are both, they are on the younger side of the coaching profession still. Even though Ryan Day is in year 7, he still fits that bill as a guy in his mid-40s here at Ohio State with his first head coaching job. Really easy for me to say that.
It 3 times in a row.
No, I'm not going to. That's the most I can get out. But when you think of, Michigan stands on its own. But is Sharon Moore going to go head-to-head necessarily with Ryan Day to win recruiting battles? You'd say most likely not. James Franklin, same situation. Like Drew Aller, not going to be the prime example of that because Ohio State didn't necessarily need that Ohio-born quarterback to come fill out that class at that time. Yeah. Julian Fleming is probably a better example of Ohio State and Brian Hartline and Ryan Day going to get something out of his backyard when they wanted it and needed it. If you are tangling with Dan Lanning, you're tangling with a little bit different monster in terms of the recruiting. Carlos Loughlin had that experience on that staff as well. If you talk to Ryan Day or Carlos Loughlin and you put that truth serum in him, who is the one that you don't want to see? If you're talking about Big Ten only, it's Dan Lanning in Oregon. They are the ones that can step up and actually land some punches back in Ohio State's face when it comes to recruiting battles. Now, Oregon's not going to win more than Ohio State. They're going to win enough to make it annoying. Certainly Georgia and Alabama, Texas, they stand on their own as a different beast when you're dealing with the SEC. But inside that conference, Oregon has something that is going and impressive. And the fact that you can rattle off guys who've never played for Oregon at wide receiver to try and replace Evan Stewart, and you might know their names as an Ohio State fan, that tells you, A, you follow recruiting, you care about recruiting, and that Oregon can win in recruiting.
One of those recruiting battles that we saw between the two programs that didn't go Ohio State's way, but went Oregon's way, was Naeem Alford, the corner that was in this class with Devin Sanchez and those guys. You think about that pairing and what that could have looked like for years to come, and there was stuff out there, true or not, A-Dub, that Uncle Phil Knight,
I think we can say true.
Founder of Nike, right? Oregon alum, may have come to the table, may have come in late to the party and said, here's some sweetener for you to leave Columbus and leave that commitment and come on out to Eugene. I think, look, Ohio State's always going to be able to fight fire with fire, right? And like you said, more times than not, they will be in good hands with the talent that they bring in. But there's a new kid on the block, and that is Dan Lanning in Oregon. And look, coming into last year, there were some vibes out there that USC and Lincoln Riley could be a part of this. And that's just one program this year. Cannot wait to see what that looks like, because he can't be coming into the season feeling fully secure. But you talk about the ages of Lanning and Ryan Day. If Lincoln Riley can get back any of that magic that he had at Oklahoma with what he was able to do with Baker and Kyler and that run of quarterbacks and Jalen Hurts and all of those guys, that's what this conference needs, is to get that, because that's what they wanted. That's what they envisioned, right? When you brought in USC and UCLA and Washington was this coast-to-coast dominance, USC's got to do their part. He is a program, he's a head coach right now that's coaching up a program that I think is going to have a lot of eyeballs on them to see if they can get back in the mix.
Yeah, and I remain skeptical of that. I think there were so many years, Maddie, we're in the middle of off-season list season, right?
Yeah.
Cranking them up. Coach rankings, Heisman rankings. We've already talked about that on this show. And Ryan Day was never given the benefit of the doubt. Well, he inherited Urban Meyer's program, and he another coach suggested that he was born on third base, all those things. Lincoln Riley, I think, is the actual example of someone who fits that bill, taking over for Bob Stoops and never truly elevating it to the same heights and getting credit for maybe too much credit. The quarterbacks you named are incredibly talented. He worked with them. He got them to the next level, and those offenses were doing great things. In terms of a comprehensive both sides of the football program, I don't think Lincoln Riley has a great handle on that. And I don't know how much more patience USC can show for it.
No, I think it's a great point, because the great thing that he'll sell you on the menu is the offense, but that dessert menu, a little light. If that's their defense.
What did he do with Caleb there? I mean, that was one of the more disappointing seasons, and I think that should have been the flashing warning light.
Yeah, because they got into so many shootouts, and Caleb had to be an absolute magician to get them in and game out with a win, because their defense was giving up 30, 35 points, it seemed like, every single Saturday. When we come back, we will do Under Pressure, looking into the future, looking into the weekend. Some guys, we're putting some heat on. That's right around the corner. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids.
today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
At QC Kinetics, we're all about keeping you in the game, helping you get lasting relief from joint pain. That's why we're excited to announce that QC Kinetics is now partnering with the National Pickleball League. So many of our satisfied patients are avid pickleball players, and they're thrilled with how we've helped them get back on the court. As lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League, we're committed to help pickleball fans of all ages with the latest, most advanced regenerative cell treatments. These treatments use your body's own healing power, revitalizing and restoring damaged joint tissue the natural way, with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Whether you're a pickleball fanatic or enjoy golf or running or tennis, stay in the game with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics, proud to promote active, pain-free living as a lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. So my teenage son just went out in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's 98 degrees. At least I know he'll be cool in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge. Get too hot?
My phone.
Oh, your phone. Should have known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE. Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will see showers on and off throughout the day and isolated thunderstorms. Otherwise, most of the day will be mostly cloudy to cloudy skies with highs in the low 80s. For tonight, down into the 60s overnight, and then we see clearing going into your Saturday, with Saturday mostly to partly sunny and our highs getting into the upper 70s. Great start to the weekend. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Under Pressure.
All right, A-Dub. Austin Ward in the house today for our guy, AR. We like to treat guests around here with some type of respect. Some type of respect.
So very little is what I've earned.
Very little. Very little. We're going to let you lead this thing off, A-Dub.
Okay.
Your pressure list, one of your candidates going into the weekend or going into the summer and fall is who, my man?
What? Letting me go first. That means we could just do this whole segment on Money in the Bank, Maddie, but we'll put that off. Because yesterday at the Woody, and I mentioned looking at Edric Houston at 295, 20% body fat. Says he wants to get down to 18 and still be at 295. So
okay.
Him and Caden McDonald are both out there. They're helping Larry Johnson go through drills with the recruits. And Berm says to them, he says this part out loud, for you're talking about under pressure. He said, you guys know that this season relies on you two. We spent all... And they're like, yes, we know, Berm. You don't say that part out loud. But they know that that's the situation.
Yeah.
Because what did we talk about all spring, Maddie? When we had a bunch of hits, it'd be like catching up, whatever it was, Tuesdays, talking about day.
Mm-hmm.
They need a defensive tackle. They need to explore the transfer portal. They need help at defensive tackle. Can they get a defensive tackle? Well, they didn't find somebody that they viewed as an upgrade. You can say that is partially that's a lot of confidence in Caden McDonald and Edric Houston, but it's also more significant for those backups. So I'd say every defensive tackle is under pressure because Jason Moore's got to step up. Will Smith Jr.'s got to step up. Tywan Malone's got to step up. Could be Jarquez Carter. You have plenty of options to do it. But the guys that have to lead, and the standard that was set by Ty Hamilton and Tyleik Williams is enormous, especially first-round draft pick Tyleik Williams, to put that respect on his name.
Oh, yeah.
Edric Houston and Caden McDonald are under pressure, and they have to answer it in these summer workouts and carry that in a training camp.
I like it. I think that's a good call because, there's one thing you can't stand when you're watching your football team play, specifically your defense, is when that defensive line can get moved around. And when offensive coordinators feel that in a game and they can just hammer home that run game for 4 yards a pop and continue to move the chains or whatever that looks like, that's a bad feeling. Yeah. It's a bad feeling. It's like a baseball team, right, where you have a bad bullpen.
No, can't hang on.
It's bad, right? And so, yeah, that I love that a lot. And Tyleik, Red, got to give him his flowers. I mean, he was just an absolute force.
Yep.
Force down there in the middle of that D-line. First candidate for me, or candidates, I should say. I'm looking at two members of the Oklahoma City Thunder, A-Dub. Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams, a.k.a. J-Dub. They need more.
Mm-hmm.
They need more from you. Chet Holmgren only plays 24 minutes in the game, 2 of 9 from the field, only offers up 6 points. The flip side of that, Jalen Williams, who needs to be their Robin, game in and game out, 6 of 19 from the floor and 17 points. So SGA, he gets up with almost a 40-piece. He has 38 points in the game. Defensively, they're awesome. You touched on it earlier. I mean, you just watched the game. They're just buzzing around. It feels like there's 6 or 7 defenders on the floor when Oklahoma City is on that end. But because of the pace that the Pacers like to play with, they can get up and down with the best of them. Just that offensive firepower from Holmgren and Jalen Williams, they need more from them. And so, yeah, it's just wild. I woke up this morning like, did that really happen again from Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers?
How do they keep getting away with it?
Crazy, right? Man, I miss Breaking Bad. He can't keep getting away with it. Jesse Pinkman. Such a good character, man. Such a good character. But I will go Chet Holmgren, who they drafted very high just a few years ago, and Jalen Williams, because you can have your star be a star. But like Shaq says, a lot of times in the postseason, and especially the finals, it's about the others. And that kind of rounds things into form. So I'll go Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're on the pressure list this week.
When you get into the finals, you've won it. You somehow have the pressure come off your back. You don't have to be, well, goalie Bob is choking in the postseason. Seen it in Columbus. Can he get over the hump? Gets one series here. Okay, well, he can do it. It's not just up to him. But when you're winning the cup, your goalie has to play at a very high level. I'm not saying that he didn't in game one or that he hasn't throughout the postseason, Stanley Cup playoffs. But now you're down. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned when you were breaking down this game in the first hour, Edmonton is going to put so many pucks on you. They're going to keep the pressure up. They have talented goal scorers all over that lineup. Bob is under pressure because he's going to be put under pressure by the Oilers. So this is big for him. You don't want to go, it's the worst thing, not the worst thing in the world to lose games on the road.
Yeah.
But you don't like being down, too.
No, not too well. A ton of pressure there. I like it. Second candidate for me. You touched on it. Let's get into it.
Okay, here we go.
Paul Levesque, a.k.a. Triple H. You're on the pressure list, big dog. We got a pay-per-view tomorrow. And look, if I'm being honest, WrestleMania season was kind of sleepy.
Oof.
So it was kind of sleepy. They've gone over to Netflix. It's been awesome. The presentation looks good. The aesthetics of it, awesome. I'm here for it all. I'm yeeting everywhere. Okay?
Yeet.
Shout out to Jey Uso. But this is a big, big weekend for Triple H. Because now people are looking at him like, okay, well, you got Cena back and his heel turn's been, you know? And so this is big to get that momentum back, to get some juice back. And I know one man, A-Dub, that can provide some juice.
Tell me.
Acknowledge me.
It's Roman Reigns. It's my tribal chief as we all put up the ones. You better be acknowledging Roman Reigns, folks, when you're listening to this, because he is my tribal chief and your tribal chief.
He puts food on our table.
He does, and he takes us to the island of relevancy. So I think they need Roman Reigns to pop up, but if Roman Reigns does not pop up this weekend, Triple H, give us a good pay-per-view tomorrow. Money in the Bank is awesome. 2 ladder matches, it's awesome. It's fun. But they got to get some juice back into this thing, A-Dub. So I'm going Triple H. He's on the pressure list.
Oh, he's cooking. I love it. Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I think they waited too long to pull the trigger on the showstopper himself, LA Knight.
Okay. Yeah.
Let him talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
But he can turn that around. Because I think if you give the man a live microphone, you're going to be entertained. Yeah. We all know that.
I agree.
So you were yeeting, we're yeeting, we had the ones up. But you know what? LA Knight.
Yeah.
You'll never meet a person who won't finish out that name by saying, yeah. And all-time great. So Seth Rollins is too obvious for the men's Money in the Bank. I can't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't have the Paw Patrol wandering around with the briefcase, too. So Seth Rollins can't win it. I love Penta. He's not winning the briefcase.
No.
El Grande Americano, a.k.a. Chad Gable, cannot have the briefcase.
And no Solo Sikoa.
No Solo Sikoa. Especially not if you're saying that the tribal chief is coming back. That takes out Solo.
We need him.
That takes out Seth Rollins. Give LA Knight a shot. Now, I don't know who. I don't like a John Cena program, and I don't want him taking it off main event Jey Uso either. So I don't know what he does with the briefcase. He might have to hold it for a year. But let him have that opportunity to walk around with it and to have more backstage moments, to have that microphone and do some more promos. Mm-hmm. Everyone's getting behind that. Pressure's on LA Knight.
I like it. That's a good one. And look, on the women's side of things, Columbus is on.
Woo!
Alexa Bliss.
5 Feet of Fury.
We got to back Alexa Bliss whenever we can. Last one for me real quick before we go to break. I'm going with Leon Rose. If you don't know who Leon Rose is, ladies and gentlemen, he is the president of basketball operations for the New York Knicks. Leon Rose, their front office, Mr. Dolan, the whole gang, they sat back and said, we just got to the Eastern Conference Finals, but it ain't enough.
That's crazy.
It ain't enough. And so identifying who their next head coach is a pressure-packed situation because that roster is set. You gave up all those draft picks to get Mikal Bridges. Cat is there. Jalen Brunson is there. They're a really good team. But the next head coach and the decision makers to find the next head coach, there's so much pressure on both parties because you know how relentless that Knick fan base is and how relentless the New York media is. And so at minimum, I think next year to keep things peaches and cream over there, you have to get to the second round. I'm not going to put Eastern Conference Finals on them just yet. But Leon Rose, president of basketball ops for the New York Knicks, a lot of pressure on him when it comes to this new head coaching decision. Coming up in 2 minutes, Aaron Rodgers, now a Pittsburgh Steeler. We will talk about that and everything else happening around the National Football League with Sam Brook House from Sumer Sports in 2 minutes right here on The Fan.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
When you're starting a home improvement project, a few big questions always come up. Who can I trust? Will they be there if something goes wrong? And lastly, how much is this going to cost me? At Newman Roofing, we've been answering those questions for over 30 years. As a family-owned and operated company that takes pride in every aspect of the job, with family members involved in each department of the company, we treat your home like it's our own. That means clear communication, no shortcuts, and a white glove experience from start to finish. And when it comes to cost, we get it. That's why we offer flexible financing options so you can get the quality your home needs at a price that works for your budget. Don't just take our word for it. With over 700 5-star reviews on Google, families across Central Ohio are sharing their Newman Roofing experience. For roofing, siding, and gutter solutions built around family, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Matty promises he'll continue to do the show even if he wins the lottery. If only we believed him. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
3 days a week. I promise I'll still be here. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I hit the lotto. I will be here. And nobody believes me, but hey, I hope we get to find out.
Yeah.
I hope we get to find out.
One day we will.
Sure. Hopefully. We'll light up right now the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline and bring on Sam Brook House. Sumer Sports covers the NFL very well. Sam, happy Friday, man. How are you?
Happy Friday, fellas. I'm excited for an excellent summer weekend. How about y'all?
Yeah, man. Same. Right back at you. Looking forward to the weekend, but looking forward to chopping it up with you about everything happening around the NFL. So we finally got the news. I know we talked to you about it a couple times throughout the offseason, whether that Aaron Rodgers is going to go over to Pittsburgh and make a big difference. Now that you know it's official, it looks like it'll be a one-year deal. Hit us with your outlook on now Pittsburgh having their QB1 for 2025.
I think what Pittsburgh wants is a captain of the ship. I don't think they want someone who is going to come in and, rehaul the entire offense as Aaron Rodgers was going to be able to do when he was with the Jets last year. I think he's going to play into Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin's offensive plans. I think there's going to be a lot of running the ball and a lot of play action and a lot of deep throws to guys like DK Metcalf. I would be shocked if we start hearing about the kind of shotgun style RPO offense where Aaron Rodgers is allowed to, make every single decision at the line. Now, there will be a melding on the lines. Aaron Rodgers is one of the most experienced and celebrated quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League, and I think Tomlin and Smith respect that. But I think they're bringing in someone to guide this Steelers team to a new era. I think this is a stopgap for them, and I think they got a guy that they think can do the things that need to be done for their young players.
Sam, some of that stuff you're talking about with getting to the future and stopgap, we're in Columbus. Like, Will Howard is right there. I know, like, Mike Tannenbaum had given some comments maybe earlier in the week or a week or so ago. It was like, well, why not give Will Howard this shot? I think everybody still anticipated that Aaron Rodgers would go there, and his job is to win games this year, not necessarily to mentor Will Howard. But how does this impact his maybe potential there in Pittsburgh?
So I think it gives him a little bit longer to allow Will Howard to either learn the offense or learn how to be a successful player in this league. I've done a lot of research on how you can expect players to play based on where they're drafted at their position. The average first-round quarterback performs kind of to the level of like Aiden O'Connell or Mitchell Trubisky his first year. That's not very good, and it just goes downhill from there. I think if they were going in and starting a sixth-round quarterback, you expect that you're not going to have an excellent season. The Steelers want to compete every year, especially given the quality of their defense. I think this allows them a year to evaluate Will Howard and how his mobility, arm strength, and what we saw with some excellent receivers at Ohio State, how that translates to the next level.
Sam Brook House from Sumer Sports joining us here on the Fan via the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Sam, let's stay in the AFC North and talk about this Browns quarterback situation. Kimberly Martin comes out the other day and says she's been talking to people up there in Cleveland, and there's belief in the building that Shedeur has a chance to be the starter for the Browns. Now, we didn't know, or we don't know, if that belief was from coaches or players, but when you look at that and you hear something like that, your thoughts on the realistic possibility of Shedeur being the starter for the majority of the games? Maybe not week one, but would you tab maybe Dylan as the favorite to do that, or Shedeur to be the favorite to do that this year up there in Cleveland?
Just focusing in on Shedeur, I think this is kind of a place where the AI meets the eye. in our AI statistics that we aggregate at Sumer Sports, we call them Sumer scores. He was one of the most accurate quarterbacks on record. And that matches kind of with what a lot of great film watchers, Nate Tice, Sean Syed, who's here with us at Sumer Sports, said. They thought that Shedeur needed some structure. And what better structure than the two-time Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski, to provide him. Now, looking at Dylan Gabriel, looking at the competition with Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco in the mix as well, I wouldn't be surprised if all of them get reps as we go into training camp. We've seen Kevin Stefanski, especially when Deshaun Watson has gone down, keep a lot of quarterbacks on the roster and start a lot of quarterbacks. That includes names like Jameis Winston. That includes names like Joe Flacco. That includes names like Bailey Zappi and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And I think they're going to shuffle guys in until they get a sense of who can start at quarterback. That's kind of the analytical way to do it. Andrew Berry is a very analytical team builder, and I think that's why he went ahead and invested again in Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round.
See, when you rattle off those 4 names for Cleveland, it's like, that is such a random hodgepodge of quarterback options. And I know how they got into the spot with, the financial situation and Deshaun, but it's like, I wonder, like, when you're looking at that and you're evaluating that, you're crunching the numbers, like, this is what Cleveland has. How would you assess this group of 4? It's just so random to me.
It is random, especially when you add in Deshaun Watson. And I think that's a compliment to from Andrew Berry to Kevin Stefanski in that I'm going to give you as much quarterback talent as I can. And I bet that you, again, 2-time Coach of the Year award winner, excellent coach before that when he was in the Sean McVay system as an offense coordinator, and with Kevin O'Connell as well, that you're going to figure it out. And I just want to give you as much talent as possible. If you want me to break down the lines, Joe Flacco obviously has been in that offense. We're going to see what Joe Flacco has done since he was a Baltimore Raven. Play action, deep shots. That was successful for them a couple years ago. I think that's going to be the play. And then I think with Pickett and Gabriel and Shedeur, it's kind of a mix. Gabriel is the less mobile of the 3, if you can believe that. I actually played against him at UCF where he would pick us apart, Tulane that is, from the pocket. Mm-hmm. Shedeur has a little level of mobility. I think Pickett's probably the better athlete, but I think you look at those guys and they're going to be employing a little bit more of a West Coast system where short passes and accurate passes are going to be the key. We've seen Pickett struggle with that at the NFL level from time to time, but that was really the MO of Gabriel and Sanders in college.
You have that unique perspective on Dylan Gabriel. What do you think changed throughout his collegiate career, ups and downs and different stops along the way, from when you prepared for him the first time to when you're evaluating him now?
So I think you have to trace it back to the schemes that he was able to run. He was running that air raid system that we now see Tennessee deploy, where we completely prepared different. We played a lot of triple option teams. Army and Navy were in the American Conference, and we prepared for UCF when Dylan Gabriel was there as if they were an option team. The entire defense changed that week. You move on to Oklahoma, a little bit more pro style, and then finally at Oregon, a quite pro style offense, even though he was still in the shotgun a lot. And I think the progression was he continued to show that he was an accurate at the intermediate and short level passer and was able to get the ball in the hands of guys like Tez Johnson, who is now on an NFL roster, while he was at Oregon, was able to beat great teams like Ohio State. And he was basically able to maintain the same level of efficiency through multiple conferences. I think that's why the Browns went ahead and pulled the trigger on him in the 3rd round. It's rare that you see that level of efficiency across 3 different divisions of different, talent, of different geography, different styles of defenses. And I think when you do show that stability, it probably will track to the NFL a little bit more, but I do worry because there's a physicality jump at the NFL, and that's kind of his downfall. As he is pretty small. I've been next to him. I mean, we're talking point guard height, if not less, 5'9", 5'10" for him. So I think if he can overcome that, deliver great passes in the face of an NFL pass rush, he does have a chance to play at this level.
I want to hit you up, Sam, about the Detroit Lions right now and your feel on what's going on with them? Got some unfortunate news the other day where they're starting center Frank Ragnow. He is retiring. I've seen some stuff that Amon-Ra St. Brown is recovering from an off-season surgery. I know it's only OTA season, so probably don't need to go too crazy about some of these things. But Detroit, some of the things that they're dealing with, the all-season that they have, you still looking at them as a championship contender right now?
I'm still looking at them as a championship contender, and here's why. First off, I want to congratulate Frank Ragnow on an excellent career. You look at our run-blocking Sumer scores, this is a player who was never outside of the top 10, and most years was inside the top 5. That's extremely hard to do. We've only seen a couple of people do that. And in fact, here is the best comp that I have for the situation that they're in right now, but I will throw a caveat in there. This reminds me a lot of the fears that we had about the Eagles last year. They lose Jason Kelce. They bring in Mekhi Becton at the right guard position. We don't know how that's going to look. We had never seen Becton play right guard. But sure enough, the coaches come together. The team comes together. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league. That's almost exactly the situation that the Lions are in this year, and that line is the crux of their team. Built obviously around the right tackle Penei Sewell, much like the Eagles are built around Lane Johnson. They will be replacing the right guard position and now the center position as well, with some mix of Tate Ratledge, the rookie, Mahogany, the second-year player who got some reps last year, and some other players that were in the mix. The difference is the Eagles' left guard and left tackle position, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, were both under 27 years old. My fear is that Decker and Glasgow, left tackle, left guard for the Detroit Lions, they're in their 30s. If we start to see injuries from them, and especially the backup skipper, Dan Skipper, who we see move around quite a bit as well, who is also getting up there in age, if we start to see injuries on that side, they could have a problem. But I'm not ready to say that yet. I think they still have a top-tier offensive line. They're going to continue to play through that, and they have excellent weapons, even outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown, in Jahmyr Gibbs, who I think is going to have a massive, massive year this year, and Jamison Williams as well.
Yeah, good stuff. Sam Brook House does an awesome job covering the NFL over at Sumer Sports. Sam, we appreciate your time as always. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank y'all so much.
Sam was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Former Buckeye Taylor Decker, A-Dub, just keeps doing it, man. Year in and year out. Made a lot of money doing so, too. Good for him.
Great for him. And, I loved covering him. It just feels like yesterday he was still here, but he's been, as you said, that's a decade ago, making it to that NFL grind and staying healthy and getting those contracts. It's great for him. He earned it. Got past that first day adversity with Khalil Mack and hasn't looked back since then.
No doubt. Coming up in our Buckeye Bulletin, big-time weekend over at Ohio State when it comes to recruiting. We'll tap into some of that after the break. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling, 1-800-COOLING.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, we'll preview next week's U.S. Open at Oakmont with Beth Major of the USGA, plus SI.com's Gary Van Sickle and former Buckeye Maxwell Moldovan.
Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick. Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
Oh my God, is this your house?
This is the humble abode.
Oh my God, it's so humble.
FX presents Adults.
You don't know your social security number?
No, I do. It's just my mom, knows the whole thing.
A new comedy about 20-somethings achieving zero anythings.
What is the worst that happens?
I go broke. I can't pay my loans. I start an OnlyFans, but only you guys subscribe.
You can't do OnlyFans.
Yeah, you wouldn't make it on there, so sorry.
FX's Adults. Wednesdays on FX. All episodes streaming on Hulu.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, let's knock out a Buckeye Bulletin. Austin Ward in the house today for AR. You know, football season never really sleeps.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. It's round the clock, 365, 12 months a year, which is great. It really is, especially like in this era, and just even zooming out from Ohio State and just football in general. There's so much content around sports right now, and so many guys that are on different platforms, whether it's podcasts or hopping on different YouTube shows or whatever it may look like. Like, we're spoiled right now as sports fans with the access that we get.
Even here at The Fan, they just started this terrible new podcast.
Talk to them about it. You want me to do the read? I'll actually do the official read here.
Okay.
Are you looking for more Austin Ward and Burn?
Give him that paper.
First of all,
Give him that paper.
I'm giving him his flowers right now.
Give him that paper.
And I'm going to continue this read. If you're looking for more Austin Ward and Berm, as you should be, The Beat with Austin and Berm is now streaming on the Fans YouTube channel and the 10 TV Plus app. Download the 10 TV Plus app. Easy for me to say today on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, or Roku, and stay locked in with the latest Buckeye talk anytime, anywhere. The Beat with Austin and Berm now available wherever you get your pod and all that glorious stuff. Man, it's going to be awesome. You guys are going to kill it.
We're excited. It's a great fit. We're excited to keep expanding what's going on here at 97.1 The Fan. And we were out there at the Woody yesterday, Maddie, to get out there for the recruiting camp. I've talked a lot about, just seeing the current Buckeyes and the work that they've done in the weight room, but you had some younger dudes, some prospects out there trying to grind and earn some honors and opportunity offers, honors, opportunities, and offers. All three of those things at the same time. You get a freshman come in and you turn the head of Brian Hartline, you're doing something. North Carolina, kid's named Braylon Clark. Think of it. He didn't have an offer from Ohio State. I'm not sure that the Buckeyes were necessarily anticipating somebody coming in and getting one at that position right away. But I remember this happening last year. I don't remember if it was the first camp of summer or not, but Bodpin Miller showed up. And he was an athlete, played quarterback in high school, and Brian Hartline said, no, I like what this guy can do, runs a good time, wins a bunch of one-on-one routes. That's what happened yesterday. Brian Hartline sends that offer out, and that usually changes the entire perspective for a young man. A, it's Ohio State. B, it's Brian Hartline. That's all you have to say, and that changes your entire recruitment.
Yeah. What's look, we're early on in the process, the feel of Hartline with the play calling and the offense and Coach Day. This is always going to be his show. He's the head honcho. That's how it should be. But what's your feel on that pairing and that relationship? It's been around for years, right? But now Brian is officially entitled the OC. Like, what do you think that's going to look like when we get to the games, Ada?
Really excited to find out, because I think as we look at this, and Ryan Day sort of pulled the reins back on it. We were talking about it 2 years ago. Brian Hartline's going to be the OC. He's going to call plays. Not so fast. And I think it may have been for the best. The way that team was constructed, the way it worked out offensively, that Ryan Day kept that. The run game, I think, people talk so much, and we all did 2 years ago, about Kyle McCord and ups and downs, and was that the right fit to lead the offense? It was some of the deficiency with the run game and the way the pieces didn't fit together that I'm not sure Brian Hartline would have been the guy to fix that part. And Chip Kelly, his influence a year ago helped. Justin Fry, I think, has got this offensive line. For all the criticisms that he may have faced for recruiting misses, and the cupboard is not bare for Tyler Bowen. So as he comes in and they fit the pieces together there to put the running game around, I think Brian Hartline is in a better spot to coordinate an overall offense. But he's going to want to throw the football. I mean, he knows better
with the guys he has.
He knows who he recruited,
no doubt,
who he's coaching at wide receiver. Yeah. So I think maybe we'll see a little bit more of that flavor on that. But as you said, Ryan Day is ultimately going to have to put his stamp of approval on it.
You brought up Justin Fry, and he's now in the NFL and with the Arizona Cardinals and coaching up, former Buckeyes, Paris Johnson on that O-line and Marvin wide receiver. But, A-Dub, I'll tell you what, man, the job that he did at the back end of the season when the games mattered the most, obviously, with the playoff and all of that stuff, and moving the pieces around. Like Josh Simmons, first-round pick. Donovan Jackson, high pick. Move him from guard to tackle. That's coaching at its finest right there, right? And developing on the fly. So I know he's no longer part of the mix, but he was, to me, one of the key pieces to really getting that offensive unit ready to go for Tennessee all the way down to Notre Dame, because that's not easy, right? Because you can have the Jeremiah Smiths of the world and the Quinshons and the Travions and all this NFL talent, but if you don't have dudes up front that can hold up their end of the bargain, then the offense wouldn't have clicked the way we saw it. So whenever I hear Justin Fry, his name, I like to give him his flowers, because I know there's been stuff out there about the recruiting and all of that. But when it came to getting things in order when they needed it the most, I thought the dude did a heck of a coaching job.
Yeah, and I think you have to give deference to that. He earned it. And whether it was with duct tape or whatever down the stretch, moving Donovan Jackson, the rotation that they were using at guard, like Luke Montgomery, here you go. This is your first significant action. It's going to be against one of the best defensive lines in the country in Tennessee in the opening round. Like, they did a great job of that. But so that's the challenge now for Tyler Bowen. If the criticism was Ohio State was not winning enough 4 or 5-star battles for recruits, and which is a fair one to level. Now, I don't think that's solely on Justin Fry. Some of it is a overall Mark Pantoni, Ryan Day strategy. Do you want to spend $1 or $2 million on a guy like Jackson Cantwell? They didn't. They were in the neighborhood. They were in the Final Three. Now you're going to do this again with Felix Ojo, who's got visits coming up here and opportunities with Ohio State. Is that the path that you want to go down? If Tyler Bowen, he's going to have to meet the standard of development, which we saw with Justin Fry. Mm-hmm. And that's not just last year with the national championship. That includes guys like DeJuan Jones and the seal of approval that Paris Johnson would give him. So Tyler Bowen's got to handle that part of it. He's got the run game responsibilities there. You have to do that part. But the part that Ryan Day is looking at when he's evaluating these coaches is then what do you do on the recruiting front? And if that's the part where Justin Fry or the Ohio State program as a whole were maybe not quite at the level they wanted, all right, here's your chance, Tyler Bowen, and here's maybe what you have to work with financially, and here's the number of spots that you may be able to fill to go take people who fit an Austin Sarabeld type mold or a Luke Montgomery inside the state. This is your job. You're going to piece that together. So it's not to say hey, Justin Fry was perfect. It's here's what you can have to do to elevate, and that would be where you look.
I think it's well said. That is today's Buckeye Bulletin. Top of the hour in the deep dive. We'll go back to some Big Ten ball. And look at A-Dub, some of these overs and unders when we talk about win totals for some of the programs around the Big Ten next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and the one you love. At Tri-State Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you, which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. And for a limited time, we're offering new patients a free first visit to help you get the care you deserve. This includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose to demonstrate to you the amazing effectiveness of our treatments. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Hi, I'm Mandy. I'm one of the at-home coaches with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Honestly, I think the thing I hear the most is I didn't realize how easy it was. That first weekly they come in, they're like, oh my gosh, I already noticed that I'm not as bloated in my face or in my abdomen, or I've been sleeping better. I've been waking up with so much more energy. I don't need my coffee throughout the day. They're coming in a month or two later and they're like, hey, like my doctor said I need to lower my meds. I'm losing a ton of inches on my waist. I'm buying new pant sizes. And we're looking at the scale and we're like, yeah, your visceral fat's down again. That's fantastic. And we're celebrating all of these wins. And then we talk about, okay, next step. Let's talk about how to maintain it. This isn't over. This is just the next stage. That's what your health coach is there for.
Thanks, Mandy. This is Scotty Vegas. Easy weight loss with results that actually last. With Awaken 180 Weight Loss, you will succeed and you'll enjoy the process. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
Today, June 6th, is of course a pivotal date in American history when back in 1944, U.S. forces as part of the Allied forces in Europe invaded France and began the conquest of Hitler and Germany on what was to become known as D-Day. As you can imagine, in that era of radio, nearly all U.S. citizens were focused on their radio sets, following the news of the invasion as the day wore on. And for one of the few times in U.S. history, all baseball games were postponed. The Reds were scheduled to play the Pirates in Pittsburgh on that June 6th, but President Roosevelt urged all Americans to spend the day in prayer, and so no games on this June 6, 1944, a day for reflection on this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $2,000 off BX 2380 tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Stop by CEC Turf and Tractor in Athens, Canal Winchester, Lancaster, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota tractors and mowers, or check them out online at cecturfandtractor.com.
This just in, the NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start June 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Dylan Gonzalez. The NBA Finals tipped off last night with a classic Game 1 between the Indiana Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder. Indiana turned the ball over 19 times in the first half and trailed much of the game before mounting a fourth-quarter comeback. Star guard Tyrese Halliburton hit the game-winning shot with 0.3 seconds left in the 111-110 victory. The Pittsburgh Steelers and four-time MVP quarterback Aaron Rodgers agreed to terms yesterday. This after months of speculation that the former Packers and Jets quarterback would end up in the Steel City. The deal is for 1 year and is pending a physical. The Dallas Stars have fired their head coach Peter DeBoer. This comes a little over a week after the Stars lost their series versus the Edmonton Oilers in the Western Conference Finals in just 5 games. The Reds and Guardians are both in action tonight. The Reds will start a weekend series at home against the Diamondbacks, while the Guards will host the Astros in Cleveland. Breaking sports news when it happens right here on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
All right, welcome back in. We are Rothman and Ice. I'm Matty Ice. TLC on the board doing his thing. Our guy Austin Ward in the house today. Holding it down for AR. Happy Friday to you. Bottom of the hour, we will talk all things Major League Baseball, as we always do every Friday at 2:30 with our guy, Jensen Lewis. Fellas, I did see today was National Donut Day.
Oh.
I know you've been doing a great job with your health and wealth, A-Dub, but I'm going to ask you this. You too, TLC. You can only have one donut for the rest of your life. So anytime you want a donut, it has to be this donut. Which donut are you rolling with?
I got to have a Long John, cream-filled, chocolate icing on top.
Okay.
That's the one for me. I don't like an actual whole donut, you know?
Really?
A glazed donut.
Yeah, that didn't work for you.
No, it's not for me. I'm out on it. And it's not just the other side of Awaken 180. I never really liked it.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
I gotcha. Okay, no, look, I'm not mad at it. TLC, one donut, the rest of your life.
I'm a very big fan of apple fritters.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that qualify as a donut?
2 picks is non-traditional donut.
Does that qualify as a donut? A fritter?
I guess. If you go to Buckeye Donuts on High Street, it's certainly there.
Does Buckeye Donuts sell it? Yes. Does Dunkin' Donuts sell it? Yes.
Okay, it's a donut. I'll buy that then. That Buckeye.
I've seen it in like the mixed assortments. Like you open up a box and they have just a little bit of everything. If you have a Long John in that mixed assortment, you're also going to have an apple.
Okay,
fritter.
I'll allow it.
100%.
Is there another, like the other option would be like with sprinkles, which that's not even like on the name of a donut.
I don't know. I think Maddie's about to drop some knowledge.
So here's my take.
Powdered donuts, powdered sugar.
Messy, good, but messy.
Yeah.
I've never been a jelly-filled or cream-filled donut guy. Not for me personally.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with, if I had to have one, it's going to be a blueberry donut.
Ooh, really?
It's something about the blueberry donut that I'm here for, A-Dub. You put that thing in the microwave for a little bit.
Okay.
5 to 7 seconds. Let that thing get moist, as my grandma would say. No, she would have no tea on moist. Like, no, grandma, it's moist. She said, no, boy, it's moist. It's moist. But I'm going to go blueberry donut.
Wow.
I'm going blueberry donuts. A little bit of a wild card there. You're looking confused, TLC. Have you never had a blueberry donut before?
No, I have. I'm just trying to think of when the last time would have been because I'm pretty sure.
He's locked in on the apple fritter.
Yeah, what was the place that somebody brought us donuts like within the past couple of months, and I'm pretty sure that there were some blueberry donuts.
Parlor donuts?
Perhaps.
They're great. They treated us like hats, T-shirts, donuts. They made it rain donuts and gear around
I guess I was here on the wrong day.
Yeah, you were. Listen, usually there's food here all the time. You come around in football season, it's 3-4 days a week. Somebody's dropping food off around here.
Burgers on Thursdays on home games.
Great.
You know I got that scheduled down.
No doubt.
Once I get to Friday, because that's the way that I am. I've been off that program for a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Wade has stayed off. You've probably heard those ads a bunch of times on the airwaves. I'm doing it right now live, but get 80-20 rule.
That's
Get
it.
to the weekend. There are no rules.
Baby Chet, TLC's on that plan too. He's a healthy eater. We're on that 80-20 plan here on Rothman and Ice. I want to throw this by you, A-Dub, and see how this lands on your palate and how this tastes. So Michigan, right? They have had
bad start.
This hovering situation with the sign stealing stuff and what's going to happen with the NCAA and how hard are they going to come down on Michigan. About a month ago, we got some news about Sharon Moore, and he's going to miss the first 3 games. No,
he decided. So Michigan wanted to self-impose the punishment, and they gave him a 2-game suspension, self-imposed. But they say, you know what? It's not going to start till week 3 and week 4. It's so important for Sharon to go play against Oklahoma, coach against Oklahoma. It's his alma mater. He can't miss it.
Yep.
Hey, maybe don't break the rules. You've acknowledged that he broke the rules. You don't get to settle the terms of your punishment, which is now going on. So to all the Michigan fans listening, happy Infraction Friday in front of the COI, getting to find out. We maybe won't get real answers until, I don't know. There's no definitive timeline for when they will hand that down, but Michigan is in Indianapolis, and apparently there's a surprise witness.
Yeah, surprise witness in the building. Boots on the ground. People on social media have been tweeting out pictures of one Connor Stalions in the house today for all of this brouhaha with Michigan in the NCAA. My gut is like, this doesn't help them.
I don't see how it could.
Right? Like, this can't help the situation. Look, to say the least, that it was, took some cojones to do what they did and the way they went about it was eye-opening, right? Maybe A-Dub can make themselves feel good about going to bed at night because they won the Natty and all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. But the people that were either former players or coaches, and you hear their opinions on what Michigan was doing, and it was disrespectful to the sport, the way that they were cutting corners.
No question about it. And if it wasn't helping them, they wouldn't have continued to do it. Yep. And that's the end of that discussion as far as I'm concerned. And anyone who's ever played sports, you would rather know the play than not know the play that your opponent is running. It's not even a debate to me. I don't even see how anyone could have it. And I know that the rest of college football, coaches, administrators, commissioners, they all feel the same way, which is why the uncertainty coming out of the Committee on Infractions hearing here, which a lot of these cases don't get to this point anymore because you have negotiated settlements, because you're self-imposing penalties, and a lot of times the NCAA will just say, yep, that sounds good. We don't need to waste time. We don't need billable hours for the lawyers. Michigan has continued to scratch and claw and fight this all the way to the finish. So you don't always get to Indianapolis. I once had to go, be a part of covering some of this at Tennessee when Bruce Pearl was going through his barbecue situation and Aaron Kraft's recruitment to loop that back into Columbus. It's boring. You sit in a hallway. You don't normally have surprise appearances by people who are putting you in this situation like Connor Stalions did. I guess the only thing that could have topped it was if Jim Harbaugh himself decided to go up here. I don't know what he could add to it. As you said, does this help Michigan? Is it going to be in shining a different light on what happened? I don't think so, because he already said his piece. When he put out the documentary, I don't think that helped Michigan. He was outlining how they did it. It is flat out against the rules, period. Mm-hmm. So I don't see the benefit for it. I don't see how it's going to lessen or mitigate the penalties. And I sure expect by the time that this is done, I don't know how you feel about it, Maddie. What do you think? What you think is a just penalty? Sharon Moore is going to face more than 2 games, and I think you must have a forward-facing punishment to deter Michigan in it. A postseason ban is on the table.
My mind has gone to exactly that. Is that when you do something the way that they did it, to take away the opportunity to play for the ultimate prize, I think would be just. You could also go down the road with scholarships and those type of things and limiting, obviously, what you can do and how you can stack your roster. Does that eliminate them from being able to get high-end talent on the top end of their roster?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. So that probably isn't as harsh as some people would want. I would be okay with them saying for a year, 2 years, whatever it is, you guys don't have the chance to play for a national championship. And when you take that away from a program, I think that would shake the room enough for not only Michigan, but other programs around the sport to say, okay, we see what happens to them. Let's not even go close to anything like that. So I'll roll with you on that, A-Dub. I think the banning of a postseason appearance for however long they deem necessary would, I think, be appropriate.
We saw the games in 2023.
Yeah.
The trophy was handed out. The rings are out. Michigan fans have bought their T-shirts. That's all done and dusted.
Mm-hmm.
Vacating wins is not a punishment.
No.
It's not a punishment that makes sense anyway, because we're not going to all reprogram our brains to say, well, you know what? That game didn't happen. Marvin Harrison caught that touchdown. He got behind the defense. No. I mean, you're not retroactively awarding wins, and we're not at a point where taking away the trophy does any damage to anybody. So I think if you're going to deter somebody from breaking a rule, it has to apply down the road, and they have to actually feel it moving forward so that they adjust, because what they're facing is not just, well, you cheated, and here's the thing, there's lack of institutional control, because it is also recruiting violations over here, it's workouts over here, and then it is Connor Stallions over here. It is multiple things all coming to a head at once. So when you have the lack of control, that's why the program has to face it moving forward. The people that argue, oh, you can't punish the current players on this team, they weren't part of it, they didn't ask for that. They're free to go. If they want to stay at Michigan, those that stay might not be champions, but they can be Michigan men.
Yep.
They're allowed to go. The same thing happened for Ohio State when they had a postseason ban. Those guys chose to stay. The reason the 2012 team is so unforgettable, they went undefeated when Zach Bourne, when John Simon, when Garrett Goebel, when Etienne Sabino, they all could have packed up and left with no repercussions and no strings. They said, no, we're staying. Mm-hmm. This is where we want to be. Those guys will have the opportunity to make that choice for themselves if they want to stay at Michigan. But if you don't feel it as an athletic department, as an entire university system moving forward, you are not deterred or discouraged from cheating again.
Yeah. I am with you wholeheartedly on that, A-Dub. And going back to the football aspect of this for Michigan, it's going to be interesting to see, because we're going to be so focused on Ohio State, their quarterback situation, rightfully so, right? It's going to be awesome to get to the next few weeks, next month and a half to 2 months to see what we hear and what you guys see over there at practice. But up there in Ann Arbor, I mean, you talk about them pulling a rabbit out of a hat with this whole Bryce Underwood situation, because he was locked in with LSU. And look, I could understand that. A kid from Michigan, LSU's recruiting me, the history there with the playmakers that they have and just the talent that you'll be around. You're playing in the SEC. I got it. But they came to the table with millions and millions of dollars, that being Michigan. And now here they are. And look, we've talked to people on this program. Howard Griffith from the Big Ten Network. He's seen him at practice. He says he's the real deal. Now, he's still a true freshman. We saw this happen in the conference last year with Dylan Raiola, or younger guy with Dylan Raiola in the conference, is that there's levels to this. There's a learning curve, but with Dylan, you could see the vision, right? You could see that he puts this thing together in a year. He could be scary, but Michigan's quarterback play was so bad last year. Their offense was inept for the most part because they got nothing from the quarterback. They have replaced a lot over the last 2 years, but as you know, if he is what they're saying he is, that could get them back into the thick of things, maybe sooner rather than later. I think they got a lot to figure out on offense. We know what the bread and butter of Sharon Moore is going to be. He's a former offensive lineman himself. He grew up under Harbaugh. They're going to want to run it through your face time and time again. But they've been searching for a true difference maker at quarterback. J.J. McCarthy was, I think, the true definition of a game manager. And look, that worked out well for him. He was a first-round pick. But the hype around this kid, A-Dub, I can't wait to see what it looks like. And that game, as you mentioned, week 2 down in Norman against Oklahoma in prime time could be a banger of a matchup.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any real possibility of Michigan not turning Underwood loose right away. You invest that amount of money,
right?
You can't let it sit on the bench. And part of the appeal for what Nebraska did, if you take that as sort of a blueprint going forward, it's like he's going to take some lumps. But if you're a 5-star, if you are viewed as the best prospect at your position in any given class, you sort of work through that. And we've seen that damage other quarterbacks, NFL level, rookie deals. Like we've seen all that in the past.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out perfectly. But, if you have some pieces around him, which Michigan still does. It's not like their cupboards are not empty up there. They are not devoid of talent by any stretch of the imagination, even though, we know what their record was a year ago. You have to let him go out there. So I think he's going to look different in week 1 or week 2 than by the time Ohio State faces him, which I think is the interesting piece that you're talking about. He's going to have a lot more experience by the time November rolls around. And so will Julian Sayin or Lincoln Kane-Holtz or anybody else. So, if you're forming opinions on week 1, you say, why did Michigan do this? If he starts week 1 and it looks rough, it's probably because they have an eye on week 12.
No doubt, 100%. Coming up in pre-snap reads, on draft day, we got that surprise trade between the Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Coming up next, you will hear from both GMs of both parties on how that trade went down that sent Travis Hunter to Jacksonville Jaguars after the break. It's the Rothman and Ice program right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Common Man here. I want to talk to you about my buddy Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. It's rare that a business comes along and offers you such great quality, service, price. If you or someone you love or like, or even strangers on the street tell you they need a jeweler, tell them you got a guy, and that guy is Bob Capace at Worthington Jewelers.
I'm Bob Capace, and I'm your guy.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Summer is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you'll be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. You want to beat the heat and keep the AC in your home? Get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you can buy 4 windows and get 4 windows free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, and no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. So how exactly do they keep their prices affordable? It's a great question. Window Nation works directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends soon. So buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION, or go to their website, windownation.com.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up.
Going up.
But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button.
Going down.
We've lowered prices. Get 1 line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the dopes at The Fan.
Got a teen athlete? Then you know putting in the hours is all part of the game. But did you know the same goes for learning how to drive? Because just like playing a sport, learning to drive takes practice. The only difference is the stakes are even higher. 50 hours of practice time driving with you? Worth every minute. Gear up. at teachyourteentodrive.ohio.gov.
Are you in need of basic dental treatment but can't afford the cost? There may be a solution. Hi, I'm Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, and I'm excited to tell you about a program called Dental Options. Dental Options is a partnership between the Ohio Dental Association and the Ohio Department of Health, in which qualifying patients can be paired with a dentist to receive discounted or even free dental care. Eligibility for the program is based on your financial situation. For more information or to apply, call 1-888-765-6789.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will see showers on and off throughout the day and isolated thunderstorms. Otherwise, most of the day will be mostly cloudy to cloudy skies with highs in the low 80s. For tonight, down into the 60s overnight, and then we see clearing going into your Saturday, with Saturday mostly to partly sunny and our highs getting into the upper 70s. Great start to the weekend. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Leads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, welcome back in. Let me let you know, folks, that at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Guardians getting ready for a series with the Houston Astros tonight up there in the land. But I'm going to start down in the Natty. I'm starting down in the Natty, looking at my Cincinnati Reds and who they are playing. And it's a former Cincinnati Red and Eugenio Suarez and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Eugenio Suarez has been hitting bombs for Arizona the last couple of years. He's tied for fourth in the National League in home runs right now with 16. Give me a anytime dinger for Eugenio Suarez tonight at GABP. Plus 320 is the juice on that.
Woo.
You like that?
Get you some.
Yeah, I gotta get that juicy fruit going today. Give me Eugenio Suarez plus 320 anytime, home run, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary. At Bet365, download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only. Must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLING. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
So, A-Dub, throughout the draft process, there was a lot of smoke out there, a lot of conversations about what should the Browns do. Sitting there very high up in the draft, should they take Shedeur Sanders? Should they take Travis Hunter? Should they take an offensive lineman? Then we get to draft day, and they say, you know what? We're not picking at 2 at all. We're moving. We're moving off this spot. They did business with the Jacksonville Jaguars, which was a bit of a surprise. But I think what could calm down the nerves a little bit, or what has calmed down the nerves a little bit of Browns fans, is that extra first-round pick in next year's draft. What they do with it, nobody knows. It'll be a fun ride to see how they get down this year with the quarterbacks. But Browns GM Andrew Berry and Jaguars GM James Gladstone, who, by the way, is 34 years old.
Can you imagine?
34 years old, putting together NFL rosters. They got together on a podcast and they talked about the trade and how things went down.
You didn't have a relationship with Andrew before the trade that happened on April 23rd, trading up from 5 to 2 to get Travis Hunter. So how did that conversation begin?
The owner meetings, it served as a good touch point for many of the general managers, especially for those that are first time in the seat. I think it was roughly 2 weeks out from the draft that we really had a strong framework for what ultimately ended up being what we were able to execute once Cleveland was officially on the clock.
You know, like James mentioned, we really didn't have a pre-existing relationship really before the spring for a deal that big and to kind of keep it under wraps for that long. Typically, there has to be a really strong trust between the general managers and the organizations, and that's not easy to build in a short period of time.
Gosh, it was easy also along the way, Andrew. I think I joked with you about keeping it quiet, right? That's not always the easiest thing to do. And I was like, Andrew, I think we're kind of in luck because nobody really actually has my number, right? It's not like I can talk to many people because it's an unknown caller.
Wild stuff. And it's crazy, A-Dub, how they mentioned in there that they had cooked that up about 2 weeks prior to the draft popping off. And nobody heard anything about it. It's amazing.
I never saw that deal floated anywhere.
No.
So kudos to them. I guess that'll establish a lot more trust between those two guys moving forward. So I guess don't rule that out that you see more Browns and Jags deals in the future. But I mean, hey, if the Browns thought that, because people wanted a quarterback up there and it could have been Shedeur, and they thought, well, you know what, we've read the room over here and we got our guy, Dr. Gladstone in Jacksonville. He said Shedeur's going to be there in the 5th. Just wait it out.
Yeah.
He was right again.
No doubt.
Great. I mean, I think it worked out pretty well for Cleveland. I don't think it'll necessarily yield immediate fruit this year, but at least maybe they have a little plan to escape from the Deshaun Watson situation, and accumulating that draft ammunition was critical.
So James Gladstone, who, as we said, is 34 years old.
He'll be there in 10 years.
It's crazy. Absolutely nuts that he's that young running the show. But it looks like A-Dub, he spent a lot of time with the Los Angeles Rams. Back in 2016, they brought him in as a senior assistant to the general manager. He had that role for a while. He was the director of scouting in 2021, which is a massive. You got to think he was probably 30 years old, and he was the director of scouting for an NFL team. And so clearly the league thinks highly of this guy, so probably a name we'll be hearing for a while, right? When you're 30, 34 years old and you're grabbing titles of director of scouting and a GM, you're a boss. That's for sure.
Is it wild to you how highly thought of the Rams organization and Sean McVay and their front office really, like, it's based off of one Super Bowl that was stolen from the Bengals? Like, why is there so much insistence? Well, we got to have he's the next offensive coordinator for Sean McVay. He's got to be a head coach. Yeah. Well, we got to have this scouting guy from over here. Like, it wasn't scouting that led to the Rams winning that Super Bowl. A, it was officiating, and B, it was like a bizarre, like, once-in-a-generation kind of trade with Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. Does that help your point, though? Because Zach Taylor is the coach of the Bengals, and so Sean McVay would have gotten credit for the Bengals Super Bowl, too.
Well, he sure would. Yeah, I'm really disgusted that you pointed that out to me. Why did you have to bring that into this conversation? More facts.
One of my friends is
supposed to help me, but it hurts me.
He's a huge Bengals fan.
Yeah.
And he hates when I bring up the Super Bowl at all, because he thinks about the play where there's the end zone view of when Jamar Chase breaks free, but it's Aaron Donald who wrecks the play up front. And you just think it's that what if. And those what ifs in sports happen to everybody, right? But for the Bengals, it's that what if Aaron Donald gives Joe Burrow probably a half second more, he probably lets go of the pigskin and connects for Jamar Chase, and history is a lot different. But I hear what you're saying. Gutsy trade by the Rams to go away from golf, but it paid off, right? It paid off, and it's one of those situations to where it's a trade it's worked out for both parties. The Rams,
it is a rare trade in that rate.
They got the better end of the deal because they got the ultimate prize. But Jared Goff and Detroit have been cooking with hot grease the last few years, and so McVay, look, man, is he 40 even? It's early 40s at this point, and they've been in the mix, so you got to respect what he's been able to do.
Yeah, it's just it hasn't seemed to be sustainable year in and year out, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just
a little bitter. It's all right.
Still a little salty. I mean, it hurts so much because Logan Wilson, the pride of Laramie, Wyoming, and the Cowboys getting called for that penalty for the Bengals to win a Super Bowl, to make my wife and daughter even happier.
And he was the best player in that game up to that point. He was awesome.
He was really good in that game. But what it does is, we talk about teams in windows, right?
Yep.
And you can be in a perceived window. And usually when you have a quarterback like Joe Burrow, you're going to have a chance to be in the mix more times than not. But when you get there, you got to cash, because you just never know. You never know. Injuries, teams around your conference, your division getting better, and they close the gap on you. Like, when you're there, it's so tough when you don't get it done. It's awful.
Especially if your owner won't pay your best players. So, goodness. You know, that can close your window even faster.
We had Mike Brown. We had Warren Sapp on yesterday, and he took a couple jabs at Mike Brown in his interview. So that reputation, even for players, is out there, not even just for Bengal fans. And here we are again with the Trey Hendrickson situation hovering over their heads, and their first-round pick in Shamar Stewart not getting the financials figured out. It just seems like it's always something. right?
So fun, man. So, yeah, awesome. Glad we could talk about this on a Friday afternoon.
You know what's fun is talking to our guy, Jensen Lewis, about everything happening around Major League Baseball. We will do that in Chin Music in 2 minutes right here on The Fan.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness. Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. So my teenage son just went out in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's 98 degrees. At least I know he'll be cool in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge. Get too hot?
My phone.
Oh, your phone. Should have known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
With rates as low as 5.54% APR and a $400 cash bonus when you refinance with BMI Federal Credit Union, now is the perfect time to take advantage of the BMI FCU Summer Savings Event. Visit bmifcu.org/refinance for more details.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Crowd the plate at your own risk. It's time for some chin music with former big leaguer and president of the Bald is Beautiful fan club, Jensen Lewis.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
Every Friday at this time, it is time to go around the world of Major League Baseball, and here he is, our guy, the Vandy boy himself, Jensen Lewis. J. Lou, happy Friday, my man. How you feeling?
Everything is great, my man. Down here at Chapel Hill for the Super Regionals between Arizona and North Carolina. Great to get college baseball into this point in the postseason. Can't wait to see who punches their ticket to Omaha.
Yeah, man, it'll be fun. I'll definitely have one eye on that throughout the weekend, and I know you're going to kill it on the call, so looking forward to hearing you on the mic down there in Chapel Hill, or Chapel Bill, as some are calling it right now. J. Lou, let's talk about the Guardians, man. It's always fun to see the Guardians link up with the New York Yankees. Just want to get your takeaways from their series with Aaron Judge and the Pinstripes.
Yeah, welcome to it, right? The Boogie Down always gives you a little something, a little idea of where you are as a ball club, and obviously taking on the chin a couple of times there, but then at least getting out of there and trying to get some semblance of where your club is at this point. So now you get to come home and play a Houston Astro team that has really turned things around and is starting to play some of their best baseball of the season. So, again, I think if you're looking at the Guardians overall, some tough news the last 24 to 48 hours, knowing that Shane Bieber was not going to make that rehab appearance potentially today in Akron. So we'll kind of get a little more news as it comes out there. But you're just trying to get healthy, right, and trying to get this pitching staff, back intact for the stretch run in a month or so. But I think ultimately the offense, Matty, outside of Ramirez, outside of Kwan, can there be some answers? Carlos Santana has been good in stretches. They need Kyle Manzaro to kind of come back and start swinging a little bit. Angel Martinez showed a couple of flashes over the road trip. But certainly the bottom of the offense and trying to get some semblance of consistency, still the theme for the Guardians moving forward.
Want to stick with offense and stay in the same division, but ask you about the Detroit Tigers. And, J. Lou, are you surprised that the Tigers are cooking offensively the way that they are, with them being top 5 in RBIs and top 5 in hits? Because last year, it's Scooble and the pitching and all that, but I know there were some questions about their offense. Just wanted to get your thoughts on their output there and how they're going about it.
No question, Matty, and I think it begins obviously with Spencer Torkelson and the resurgence that he's had, not only offensively, but I think it's had kind of a ripple effect too. And we're starting to see nicknames for Kerry Carpenter like Kerry Bonds, the way that he's been swinging the bat left-handed. Gleyber Torres has actually been a nice surprise, has really started to find his footing a little bit. And then the depth of the offense that I'm not sure we anticipated maybe this early or that has been as good at turning the lineup over. So that in and of itself, knowing it's teamed with a pitching staff that we knew was really good at the end of last year. They brought back most of the usual suspects. Getting Jack Flaherty back was such an immense get for them this offseason to help Derek Scooble at the top of the rotation. But all in all, they've been kind of beleaguered by rotation injuries the last handful of seasons, still having to navigate their way through that. But you're absolutely right. The theme for their year and the reason why they're up amongst the best teams in baseball, the lineup 1 through 9 has been great with runners in scoring position. They've slugged them they've needed to, and they've got multiple ways to try and beat you day in and day out.
Boy, it's tough right now for the Reds when it comes to their ace and Hunter Green. And here we are again, Jay Lee, with him having to make another trip to the IL. And the bad news continues because one of the guys that they were going to be relying on at some point this year in a young arm is Rhett Lauder. So this Reds pitching staff right now, Jay Lee, really being stretched thin.
Yep, it was something, I talked about early, too. And when you handicap this division, Matty, could the Reds be able to get, if not 25, maybe you're looking at 23, 22 starts from some of their big horses and, be able to have all those guys healthy into the second half of the season, which you hope was a run for a postseason spot. Now, still plenty of season left to go, but you're right. Anytime multiple trips to the IL in such a short amount of time for your staff ace, never a good thing. I'll tell you, Andrew Abbott's resurgence has been amazing, right? He gets a little tripped up in his last outing, but before then, 6 outings of one run allowed or none, I think was just a huge boost to the club. You get Lodolo going tonight and hopefully just trying to put some series wins together, man. And you talk about inconsistency with the Guardians offense. Outside of Ellie, been trying to search for answers. I know Tito probably has, and the rest of that offensive crew, because the Reds have the talent. I mean, you and I have watched enough baseball to know that group has it. And once they catch fire, they're going to be white hot. It's just getting that initial series where you're like, okay, everything's starting to fall in line, everything's starting to come together. And as you said, the pitching injuries, if you can try and minimize those moving forward in the next handful of weeks, that should be able to stabilize this group overall.
We're talking all things Major League Baseball with our guy, Jensen Lewis, as we do every Friday here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Could not wait to ask you about Cal Raleigh and what you're seeing from this guy. I mean, it feels like every night the catcher for the Seattle Mariners is hitting absolute tanks, J. Lou. This dude is so much fun to watch.
The big dumper, right? And appropriately named because when he hits those, it feels like NASA's still tracking him. So, he's going to get some votes, I think, if he continues this way, at least for the American League Most Valuable Player. Now, we don't think anyone's going to run down Aaron Judge, barring an injury, but you can make the case that he's as big a reason why Seattle has turned their offense around overall and why they are competing for the top spot in the American League West. Signing that extension, and again, we see players a lot. Once you get that financial security, maybe you kind of take that deep breath, and there's a little bit of a lull. It's been anything but that for Cal Raleigh. Really hit the ground running from day one this season and has just been an offensive force to be reckoned with.
J-Lo, I think I saw last weekend or maybe the weekend before when the Dodgers were in New York taking on the Mets, I believe. There were some highlights that came out from Shohei Ohtani on the mound, getting after it just a little bit. If you were Dave Roberts and management out there, would you try to force that? Do you think they need Shohei Ohtani to come back and help them out on the bump every fifth day?
Well, they certainly need healthy pitchers and healthy rotation mates, too. And they will not rush him, Matty, but another step in the right direction for Shohei Ohtani's rehab. Getting the breaking ball spinning up there, always crucial to kind of get that checkpoint of where the elbow health is, and then also the recovery from that, being able to bounce back in between outings, in between your side sessions. And so as long as he continues on that path, I think their timeline remains the same. For maybe looking at the All-Star break potentially into the second half. So to answer your initial question, no, they won't rush him. But ultimately, overall, with all the injuries to their starting rotation, my goodness, they're looking for healthy bodies just to make the turn, let alone be able to give them a chance to win. So a team with just what feels like unlimited resources is already being challenged in a big, big way.
You know, you touched on Aaron Judge and how elite he is and him probably running away with the MVP in the AL this year if he continues to do what he's doing in the first half. Paul Goldschmidt, though, last year or the last couple years in St. Louis was just kind of okay, but we know at his peak this guy's been an MVP caliber player. Now he gets over to the Boogie Down Bronx, J. Lou, and he's now paired with Aaron Judge and Bellinger in that Yankee lineup. And the OG for the Yankees is seeming to do some good things right now.
It just feels like, Matty, when you watch Goldie, it feels like a little turn back the clock for what he used to do, going the opposite way. And, of course, Yankee Stadium, anytime you go shopping in the Gap as a right-hander, you're going to get rewarded pretty handsomely. So in that lineup, they weren't asking him to, hit 30-plus home runs. Anything, I think, above 20 was going to be a bonus, knowing that the power had kind of fallen off here the last year or so. But veteran guy, does all the right things, everything you ask him to do. And also the little change of scenery part, I'm sure, gave him a little chance to catch his own collective breath and be like, all right, I can still do this. I can do it at a high level. And, hey, the numbers speak for themselves. You're around the college game right now. You've kept an eye on and done a good job of covering both MLB and college for years now, J. Lou. One guy that was coming from the collegiate ranks that's now in the big leagues, but more importantly in the AL Central is Jack Caglione for the Kansas City Royals, former Gator, hit bombs down there for them. What type of impact do you think he could make in time for Kansas City in that lineup? Well, it was overdue in my estimation there. I mean, he asked the player to do everything possible to show you he's handled not only the minor league level but excelled at it, and his numbers between AA and AAA this year were absurd. And so well-deserved call-up for him. And at a time, too, Matty, where you look at Kansas City, the lowest amount of home runs hit of all major league teams at the time in which Cags got called up. And from the day he got called up thus far to the time you and I are speaking now, the Kansas City Royals have felt an absolute influx of energy. I think at least 5 runs in every game that they've played in. That was unheard of for them at the beginning, at least first 2 months of the season. So anytime you get that kind of jolt into your clubhouse and you can tell guys moving around a bit different, it's just a direct message from the front office to say, we know you guys need a little help, and we're happy to do it, even though the kid is young. It's his major league debut and his first handful of times in a major league batter's box. But the sky's the limit for this kid, man. He's an aircraft carrier, and he is going to be potent in the middle of that lineup for years to come. For the folks that may be jumping into the college baseball world now with the super regionals arriving this weekend and Omaha right around the corner, who are the stars of the college baseball world right now? Are there any Paul Skeens types out there, or is there any hitters in the box right now that are going to be in the big leagues in a couple years, in your opinion? Some names to watch out for this weekend and going into Omaha around college baseball. Yeah, it's a great question. And, Jamie Arnold, as far as the pitching ranks go, and we get a great one here in North Carolina, and Jake Knapp and Jason DeCaro, who is going to go tomorrow for game 2. Jamie Arnold, potentially a number 1 overall pick here. The ace for Florida State, them going up against the Oklahoma State Beavers. Mason White, shortstop here for the Arizona Wildcats, has accounted for almost 28% of the runs in the RBI for Arizona's offense. Potential first-round pick. Luke Stevenson actually going to endear himself to many in the Midwest. He's got kind of a Kyle Schwarber-esque swing and approach, a chance to do a lot of damage. So he's probably your number 1 overall catching prospect here for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Behava Aloy, I should say, position player, SEC player of the year for the Arkansas Razorbacks out there in the Fayetteville Regional. College baseball in a great place, Matty. So many guys and so many stars in these different supers. And again, you'll see them all come together in Omaha next week. It's good stuff. J. Lou, we appreciate your time. We know you're going to crush it on the calls all this weekend. We'll be looking forward to that. Looking forward to talking to you next Friday. Thanks, my man. Always appreciate it. Thanks, Matty. Appreciate you, J. Lou. J. Lou was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We will hit the finish line of the show next with Tell the Truth. It's Rothman and Ice right here on the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. Just freak the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Summer is officially here, and that means rising temperatures. You're going to be thinking about how you can keep cool all summer long. What's the best plan here? Well, one of the ways you can beat the heat and keep the air conditioning you're paying for in your home is to get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. And now's a great time to do it. They've got a semi-annual sale where you buy 4 windows, you get 4 windows for free. plus a free entry door when you purchase a whole house full of windows. No money down, no interest, no monthly payments until 2027. It's a deal that can't be beat. You're getting a great deal from Window Nation because they are high-efficiency windows that are also very affordable. They do that by working directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. But don't wait on that semi-annual sale. You buy 4 windows, you get 4 windows free. Free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. You've got to schedule your estimate today. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
They will resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He had heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers. T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Join our resident gambling degenerates Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money Sunday morning at 9.
Presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility. The Fan.
Join the G&J Pepsi team. G&J Pepsi is a family-owned company. Learn more about our company and open positions at our hiring event. Our HR team will be on site Monday, June 9th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 6939 Americana Parkway in Reynoldsburg. We're hiring full-time and part-time merchandisers to service the greater Columbus area. Interviews and job offers given on the spot. All positions offer competitive wages and benefits. Visit gjpepsi.com/careers for more info.
He shoots, he scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Now buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Plus a free entry door with a house of windows. Visit windownation.com.
All right, welcome back in. Welcome back in, TLC. Another one of your segments. Tell the truth time. Take us home, big dog. What do you got cooked up?
The fan poll today is, do you think Aaron Rodgers makes the Steelers a playoff team? Here are your 3 options. Yes, no, or they already were.
I'm eliminating the last option. I did not view them as a playoff team without
You didn't
Aaron
think
Rodgers
Mason Rudolph was taking them to the promised land?
No, A-Dub, regardless of what they tell us, it's so funny to me. Like, coaches, like, you know they don't believe what they're saying sometimes. Like, you're Mike Tomlin, you're Omar Khan. You don't really believe that Mason Rudolph is your guy. He's just available for you. It was a flash in the pan. You had some good moments, but I get it. Whatever. Do I view them as a playoff team now with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, don't you believe? 9-7 is the new whatever.
I guess the question I have in my mind, TLC, is would it surprise me if they messed around and grabbed a wild card spot? And my gut is saying no.
We did last year.
And so with him, I just don't think the floor would fall out the way that it did with Russell Wilson. I don't think that's going to happen. So I can see them messing around and grabbing a wild card spot, A-Dub.
Defense is good enough, talented enough. As much as I am skeptical of this version of Aaron Rodgers that we've seen the last 4 years, injuries, distractions, indecision, I feel like if anybody might be able to manage that situation, it's Mike Tomlin. If he can't, obviously nobody can. Maybe I don't know if that's too strong of a view of him or too high of praise, maybe. But I guess I don't really view Pittsburgh as a Super Bowl contender. Are they a playoff team? Probably.
Do you give us any chance whatsoever of winning a playoff game? All it takes is one.
Probably not, because then you're asking me to believe in Aaron Rodgers over the likes of Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Mahomes, Herbert, Lamar.
But I've got to assume it's going to be a road playoff game, too, because I think that Joe Burrow and the Bengals won't wait until November to start playing good football, and you've got Lamar down there in Baltimore. So if they are claiming one of those other spots, I think they're going to have to go on the road, and then I would be inclined to say no.
Would you ever consider playing for the Saints?
No.
How long could you hang at a professional tennis match before you would want to leave?
Hey, real quick, I just want to mention this. I'll let A-Dub. Seeing this come from Ian Rappaport, Steelers may be interested in acquiring Kyle Pitts from Atlanta. So, just a little bit of an update.
Look at him making those moves already.
Something to monitor.
Yeah, really making up for that Donald Parham
Achilles
injury,
pop,
whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, where you at, A-Dub, on a tennis match? How you feeling about that?
What, I'm playing it or I'm watching it?
Watching.
Oh.
As I am watching Jannik Sinner and Novak Djokovic in the second set at Roland Garros right now in the semifinal. And I've been going serve for serve on this one.
It's not for me.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. When you mention the names that he mentioned, if you dropped me into the venue.
Yeah.
And I felt the energy that's probably in there, and I had a couple adult pops to go along with it.
In there.
Well, I'm not doing it without that.
The jury's still out.
I think I'd be able to gut it out. If it was two just random matches that I had no idea who they were, I'd probably bail after a couple sets. Because I'm always A-Dub team beat the traffic anyway when I go to an event.
Oh, I'm the opposite of that.
Oh.
If we're going, we're staying until the end.
Around?
So that's part of the answer here. It's like, do I want to go to a professional tennis match? Because if I'm there, I'm there. I'm not leaving.
Okay.
And that's a rule Liberty had to know. We're crew season ticket holders. This isn't halftime and we're out. No, we are
start to finish.
We're here.
I got you. Okay.
So, do I want to go or not? I guess I'd say no.
We can't wait to get the hell out of Cleveland, just like Myles Garrett.
It's the new day. Love that he's got some wrestling bumps in there, too.
Oh, I got one here. Here's a wrestling one.
Shut up, bitch.
There you go.
I got one for you real quick.
Hit
Tell me he didn't just say that.
Shout out to Booker T.
Sucker. All right. Hey, we got some audio here. Tyrese Halliburton was on with Scott Van Pelt, and I guess it's like a new thing that if you have an incorrect prediction, you're supposed to like apologize for it, but whatever.
The other night on the show, I put my hand up and I said, look, I was late to the party on it.
Yeah, you're a real one for that.
Well,
I heard that. You're a real one for that.
Well,
but a lot of your counterparts won't admit that now.
Well,
so
okay, now I'm going to give myself a little wiggle room here and say you guys are under 500 at Christmas. Am I right?
Yeah, we were rough.
Okay,
we were rough.
So were you bad at the start?
We were.
So all I said is I was a little late to the party.
For
but I put my hand up.
We were late to the party too.
Okay, well then I'm going to be. I'll be a real one right now. Every single note I had on this card getting ready for this show is about Oklahoma City winning this game, and I'm sitting here with you. It's an amazing show that you all are putting on, and the belief is amazing to watch as well. I appreciate you taking the time. Thanks so much. Tyrese Halliburton.
TLC, you would have a problem with SVP doing that. Of all people that would have an issue with him just saying, you know what, I got something wrong. Let me admit it.
No, but it became like an expectation a little bit of like there's something like noble about that. No,
I actually think there is. Because I think
Tyree's like, hey, not a lot of people would have done that.
I don't think they do. I don't think
a lot of people would.
I don't think a lot of people would, TLC.
That's because some people treat their predictions like they're the most important things in the world. Listen to people talk about gambling on the radio and you'll figure it out. I just
happen to think when you're SVP.
The prediction game is very low stakes. If we get one wrong, great. If we get one right, great. It's not the biggest deal in the world. We're just talking sports.
No, but I like that face-to-face. He sat down with Halliburton and he kept it real and said, listen, man, I was wrong earlier, and I'm giving you your flowers now. I appreciated that from SVP.
Corny.
Ooh.
That's why he's called the loose cannon.
I like where this is going. This is spicy. I don't think enough people will admit when they're wrong. I think you're both correct about something here. If you're talking about predictions, yeah, games have unpredictable results and crazy things happen. You don't have to apologize for thinking one team's going to win and they don't. But I think SVP might have been more in the line of the athletic poll calling Tyrese Halliburton overrated. And if that part is wrong, more people need to stand up and say, you know what? I was wrong about you, and here's what's like. I think accountability is also important.
I agree.
Fair.
If they need a safety, tell them I know a guy.
We love Tyvis, pal. Hey, if you missed anything from our show, don't worry. You can always catch up wherever you get your podcast. All you got to do is type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the pod as well. A-Dub, appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming in.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. TLC, great job on the board. Folks, thanks so much for your time. We love you. Be safe. We will talk to you on Monday. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Hi, I'm Mandy. I'm one of the at-home coaches with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Honestly, I think the thing I hear the most is I didn't realize how easy it was. That first weekly they come in, they're like, oh my gosh, I already noticed that I'm not as bloated in my face or in my abdomen, or I've been sleeping better. I've been waking up with so much more energy. I don't need my coffee throughout the day. They're coming in a month or two later and they're like, hey, like my doctor said I need to lower my meds. I'm losing a ton of inches on my waist. I'm buying new pant sizes. And we're looking at the scale and we're like, yeah, your visceral fat's down again. That's fantastic. And we're celebrating all of these wins. And then we talk about, okay, next step. Let's talk about how to maintain it. This isn't over. This is just the next stage. That's what your health coach is there for.
Thanks, Mandy. This is Scotty Vegas. Easy weight loss with results that actually last. With Awaken 180 Weight Loss, you will succeed and you'll enjoy the process. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hi, this is Bob Mashutter from Dick Mashutter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MasshutterFord.net. Thanks.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com. Looking to buy a home? CME Federal Credit Union has got you covered. With a 5/1 adjustable rate mortgage from CME, you can lock in a low rate, starting as low as 5.5% for the first 5 years. And with low closing costs, you can save even more. Ready to get started? Visit CMEFCU.org today to begin your journey to home ownership. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.